WHCS Channel 29 presents Group AAA High School Football. The Bethel Bruins versus the Kecoughtan Warriors. From Todd Stadium in Newport News. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Tim Cole, along with Bob Hintz and A.G. Womble, and we are here for this afternoon's game between the 1-1 Bethel Bruins and the 0-2 Kecoughtan Warriors. Bob, what are we looking at as far as these two teams are concerned?
Well, we have a team that's got tremendous amount of experience in Bethel High School. They're a good team. They got beat by a real good Norview team, but they're a much better team than getting beat 32-7. Opposed as Kecoughtan is, they're a very young team. They've got a lot of sophomores playing on the line. In fact, they've only got one senior and very little experience. And the word is, if you're going to get Kecoughtan, get them this year. They're going to be tough the next 2 years, Tim.
Okay, of course, this rivalry is a rivalry, as all the Hampton schools are. Kecoughtan and Bethel being in close proximity, they know each other and they don't like each other very much. And we're going to see undoubtedly a real good ball game this afternoon. As Bob said, Kecoughtan young but wanting to win that first game of the season. Bethel, having won last week, will look to make it 2 in a row, and we'll be back with the starting lineups. But first, A.G. Womble had a chance to talk with the two coaches before the game. We'll return after this interview.
Coach Kaz, 1-1 going into this game. What type game could we expect today?
Well, I think, first of all, it's probably going to be a ground attack. You know, Kecoughtan is very potent with their veer offense. Their quarterback, Bugs, does a good job running it. They've got a good receiver in number 2 who's a wideout that's caught 3 touchdown passes already, and he, without a doubt, will be a deep threat for them.
Okay, you had a little trouble opening game against Norview, but seems like you got things together last weekend.
We seemed to get on track last week against Lafayette. We executed very well. We still made some key mistakes at inopportune times, so we're still trying to correct those.
How important is this game, even though it's early in the season?
Well, every game's important in the Peninsula District. As you can tell, I think, as the old saying goes, the cream will rise to the top, and that's all you got to keep plugging for.
All right, Kecoughtan coach Kurt Newsom. Kurt, off to a little bit of a slow start. I think you lost 15 starters last year, but what about today's game? What can we expect?
Well, we've got a lot of young kids, and they're working real hard, and we're pleased with their effort. We've just got to get a little better play in certain positions. Bethel's got a fine football team, and they're very, very strong and senior-oriented, and we're just going to have to play our best game of the season.
I think today's game, the rest of the season, what are your thoughts?
Well, I think we'll get better each week, you know, being a young football team, and we're looking for improvement each week, and we've got a good attitude, and hopefully that'll be the case.
Kurt, I think this is your second or third season at Kecoughtan?
This is my second year at Kecoughtan.
All right, great program you got going over there. Good luck today and the rest of the season.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
Kurt Newsom, Kecoughtan coach.
Tim Cole with Bob Hintz back at Todd Stadium. The captains for both teams are meeting at the center of the field, as you can see. And we have a shot right in close, and AG's got a live mic down there.
Officials are Mr. Mitchell, Mr. Hunter, Mr. Short, and Mr. Owens. Okay, in the event of fouls, guys, when I give you the options, make sure you understand them before you give me an answer, because I must take your first answer. If I don't make them clear, ask me to repeat them, all right? Okay, we're going to call you white and you green. Which one of you is going to call the toss? Okay, call it good and loud while it's in the air so everybody can hear it. There's the head, there's the tail. If I drop it, I flip it over. Tails. He calls tails, you got heads. So green has won the toss. You may kick, receive, defend the goal, or defer your choice to the second half. You're going to defer your choice to the second half. All right, let me get that out of the way. Green has won the toss, and they're going to defer. Okay, white captain, you have the choice in the first half. You want to receive the ball in the first half. Okay, which goal do you want to defend? So you want to kick this way? Okay, put your back to the goal you want to defend. You put your backs to the other goal. So in the first half, white is going to do receive. Okay, let's get together here for a second. Everybody get together here for a second. Okay, gang, we're bugs on sportsmanship. So show us good sportsmanship and we'll try and stay out of your way. All right, let's have a good clean ball game.
Bethel did win the toss, but they have elected to defer to receive until the second half. And referees out there, the referee was Buck Victor. The head linesman was Sonny Short. The umpire was Chris Owens. The line judge was Mike Mitchell. And the back judge was Clyde Hunter. And that means that the Warriors will receive the opening kickoff, Tim.
Well, and very hastily, we hope to get the starting lineups for you. I do want to mention who the co-captains were, or the tri-captains, I might say, for Bethel. They were represented by 79. As you'll have it, Bob, I don't have a 79.
Yes, 79 is down the bottom, Tim. That's Marcus Washington.
Oh, okay. Marcus Washington. 81 is Melendez Bird, and 88 was Todd Kelly for the Bethel Bruins. For Kecoughtan, they were represented by 4 players. Joe Becknell was number 1. Number 8 is Curtis Irving. 55, the other captain was David Heath, and also number 77, Herman Rouse.
If we get a chance, we'll get the lineups up on the screen, and we'll be able to show them for the fans. And there you see is the Kecoughtan Warrior defense. You have Vincent Thomas and Lewis Saunders at tackles, Mike Thacker, Herman Rowe at ends. The linebackers, David Heath, Thomas Brown, outside linebackers, Joe Becknell, Jimmy Brimbury, cornerbacks Brian Whitley, Joe Flewellen, and the safety is James McRae.
We're just about set to get underway. There you see the offense. A young Kecoughtan team. Quarterback is Kermit Buggs, number 7. Joe Becknell, a halfback, along with Curtis Irving. Split end is Joe Flewellen. The flanker is Brian Whitley. The tight end, Jacques Brown. I guess that's
Jacques Brown, that's right.
Whoa. And Herman Rouse and David Robinson, the tackles. The guards are David Heath and Vincent Thomas. And the center is Keith Meadows. We'll get to the Bethel team as time allows, but we're just about set to go as the Bruins will be kicking off to the Kecoughtan Warriors to start the ball game.
And that's number 44, Troy Fullwood.
The field goal and place kicker has the kickoff. It's taken at the 13-yard line. A hole up the middle, out across the 30. And that was Kevin Cotman, number 20, returning the opening kickoff. The Kecoughtan Warriors.
Check that. That was Nick Brown, number 20. Cotman is number 20 for the Bruins.
I'll get it right here.
So here you see the Bruin defense, Tim, and that's led by the 2 guards, Nick Washington and Kevin Cotman. The tackles, Brian Hargrove and Charles Nickens. The ends, Troy Fullwood and Todd Kelly. The linebackers, Marcus Washington, Melendez Bird. The cornerback, Steve Hodges and Robbie Robinson. And safety is Tracy Barkers.
Number 7, Kermit Buggs, the quarterback, calling the signals as they start from their 31.
Kecoughtan will run a veer offense, Tim. They'll have a split backfield, and they run the veer. And this Buggs quarterback, Kermit Buggs, his dad is the high school football coach over Smithfield High School, and the Kecoughtan coaches are real pleased with his maturity and leadership ability. Even though they've lost the 2 games, they feel like they've got a lot of experience, Tim.
Curtis Irving was the ball carrier for a yard. 2nd down and 9. Just underway from Todd Stadium. Tim Cole, Bob Hintz, and A.G. Womble bringing you the game between the Kecoughtan Warriors and the Bethel Bruins. Kecoughtan with the ball. 2nd down and 9. Buggs fakes, wants to throw. Throws I guess in fact it was in fact a lateral. It was a 2-yard loss on the play. And the play didn't work at all for the Warriors because the receiver was already on the ground. His best bet would have been not to catch the ball.
Right, he would have been better off not to catch it. They think sometimes, like the pros, where you have to be touched when you're down. But at that time, I noticed Bethel is in a even man front. They'll have a 6-man front. But, Tim, they had 7 men up on the line of scrimmage, so that was a good call.
Let me finish that thought, however. It was important that he did catch it because it was a lateral.
Hey,
and the ball was live.
Good point.
So it's 3rd down and about 11 for the Warriors.
Well, Bethel that time was coming on the blitz.
Buggs did a great job of getting that pass away, completes it for the 1st down out close to the 44-yard line.
They were in an uneven front that time, the Bethel Bruins. They had 5 men on line of scrimmage, but they shot the 2 linebackers. And as you alluded to, Buggs did a good job avoiding the rush and getting that pass off. He's very successful on his passing game. And, of course, nothing makes the team feel any better get that initial 1st down.
No question about that. So a 13-yard gain for Buggs. His completed pass going to Joe Flewellen. So the Warriors get new life at the 44-yard line. Along the line of scrimmage, handoff right side, good yardage, 1st down across the midfield stripe all the way to the Bethel 40-yard line. And that's Curtis Irving again. First time he carried the ball, he got a yard. This time he picked up almost 15.
Well, Tim, what they did is they caught Bethel in the wrong defense to stop that particular play. They pulled the linebacker to the outside to have him crash and open up that inside move.
Here you see the pass play that was completed for the first down. The good job on the part of Buggs to get the ball away, and then an excellent job concentrating on the reception by Fluellen. Another first down, this time sacked in the backfield is Buggs. In there quickly for the Bethel Bruins. Among others, number 44 was Troy Fullwood. Again, a all-around athlete for the Bruins. He does the place kicking as well as playing defense.
Well, not only that, Tim, he's also a quarterback. He will quarterback, and Kozlowski told me that they will lose nothing when they bring him in as quarterback. So he is an excellent, excellent athlete.
So a loss on the play of almost 4 yards. Call it 4, second down and 14 for the Warriors. Ball marked at the 44 of the Bethel Bruins. Buggs on the option play. The ball gets away, and a substantial loss all the way back into Kecoughtan territory as, again, the pitch to Irving, but this time not nearly as successful as before. A substantial loss all the way back to the 39-yard line.
Tim, that was one thing that was always characteristic of either the veer or the triple option is it is a high-risk offense, and obviously we saw what happened on that play. The pitch was there, and I don't know if he just threw it too much in front or what, but the timing definitely was not there.
Third down and 31 for the Warriors. Buggs in an obvious passing situation. Heaves the ball, has a man open, but it's out of bounds as it was just intended a little too far for the receiver, and that would have been Freddie Williams had he been able to catch up with that. So the pass didn't click as Buggs threw it. Here we see the fumble on the lateral moments ago, covered very alertly by Irving. Of course, that ball was a live ball. And there you see some of the lovely cheerleaders on the Bethel side of the field.
As Brian Reeves, who was back to punt for the Warriors,
gets a low kick, but it takes a Kecoughtan bounce down to the 20 of Bethel. And a good run back. Running the tightrope along the sidelines. Getting substantial yardage, number 33, Marcus Muskelly. So Muskelly took that at his 20 and returned it to the 44-yard line. So a 24-yard return for the Bruins. So they've got the ball now for the first time in the ball game.
And they've got good field position. We get a chance, we'll flip on the screen there, the offensive starters for the Bruins. We didn't get a chance to go through that.
7:45 remains here in the first quarter. 12-minute quarters in high school football. Right side handoff, and this time it's Charles Mitchell carrying the ball for. Now check that. It was Corey Hodge, not 33, but Corey Hodge, number 36 rather.
Well, Corey Hodge will be will do the bulk of the ball carrying today, Tim. And if you remember what Kaz told us before the game, that 70% of the time they're going to run the ball. Excuse me.
Subject to change, of course.
Right, and of course Kurt Newsom wants him to pass. He figures they have a better chance if they're passing the ball.
Pickup of almost 3. Faking and rolling is Gwaltney. Gwaltney running for his life, looking for a block. Oh, is he hammered down as he crosses midfield. And Gwaltney took a pretty good lick there from the Kecoughtan defender, number 55, David Heath. Put a shoulder right into Mr. Gwaltney and let him know that he was aware of his presence. Pickup of about 3.5, almost 4 yards on the play as they've crossed midfield now. And they've marked the ball at the 48 of Kecoughtan.
Well, Tim, I think that was probably a designed sprint out pass, but there was nobody open, and he just tucked the ball underneath his arm and ran it.
Now Fullwood has come in at quarterback with this 3rd down and 3. Fullwood fakes, carries, got the first down, and crosses the 40-yard line of Kecoughtan, and Bethel will have a first down. So we've already seen Kozlowski using some of the different variations he will use. Now, well, Fullwood comes out, and Brian Gwaltney will check back in.
And, you know, that is really strange to rotate your quarterbacks in. And I asked Koz, how do you send your plays in with your wide receivers? He says, and sometimes I use the quarterbacks. And the basic has to be an awful good center to know that you got 2 different people, the quarterback, and not have any bad exchanges from the center and the quarterback.
Gwaltney hands off to
Hodge again. Hodge is dragged down. In on the play for Kecoughtan, 76, is John Johnson. There you see the young ball handler, number 36, Corey Hodge. He's just a junior. He's 5'10", 181 pounds. Gwaltney is a junior as well.
And everybody else is seniors on that starting unit just about.
Fulbert is a junior also. So the two quarterbacks are juniors for the Bethel Bruins, at least according to the roster we were given. Pickup of a couple, 2nd down and 8. And this one doesn't get but a couple. Again, Hodge carries for the Bruins. In on the stop was, let's check that number. I believe in on the stop was David Heath, number 55 for Kecoughtan.
Well, Rodney Bowens, number 11, and number 1, Wesley Tuning are the ones that are running the plays in and out right now, as number 11, Bowens, comes wide to the left.
He is out of your picture at the bottom of the screen. The fake to the fullback, the pass, he's got a man open. It's underthrown. The ball is caught on the one hop. Are they going to say they're going to say he intercepted the ball? Looked like it might have bounced off the ground.
Well, and number 21 for the Kecoughtan Warriors, the one that intercepted that, Brian Whitley, he looked to see, because I don't know if we got an instant replay on that or not.
We'll see
but he may have trapped that ball. He may not have caught it.
It was a close call. There's no question about it. And if we have a chance to look at the replay, in the event we were able to have that, we'll let you see it. And we've got it, and it's going to be coming up right now. Let's see if we can pick it up. If we can slow it down.
That ball hit before he caught it, Tim.
Tough call, but it does stand. And quickly with the good running attack for a 1st down out close to the 25, Joe Becknell for the Kecoughtan Warriors. So you have to wonder, the officials will miss one every now and then. That was a real close call. I personally, even on the replay, it was real hard to pick it up.
Well, it looked like to me that the ball hit just as he caught the ball, and what further makes me believe that is that Whitley turned around and looked at the official like he wasn't acting like, yeah, I caught it, but why are you going to call it?
1st down. Kecoughtan with the 1st down at the 26. Now we have some motion. I don't see any flags. Now we do. And we finally have a flag down. There would seem to be some confusion on the part of the Kecoughtan Warriors, but they're indicating, I was going to say, they were saying that something was done on the Bethel side. But
well, the Bethel players can move as long as they don't go into the neutral zone, where an offensive ball player, especially the ones on the line of scrimmage, they cannot break that 3-point stance or move, and that's what happened that time, and the whistle was blown before the play got set. As you can see there, it stopped before they blew the whistle as the ball was being centered.
Well, nonetheless, a 5-yard illegal procedure call against Kecoughtan. Makes it 1st and 15, 4:24 remains here in the 1st quarter. No score between the Kecoughtan Warriors and the Bethel Bruins. Fake. Pitch out goes, and a good defensive effort. Pitch out to Becknell. And over there was Mr. Todd Kelly, the all-standout player for the Bethel Bruins. Nice article in the paper earlier in the week about Todd Kelly.
This young man is 6'6", 226. He's being heavily recruited by major colleges. He's supposed to do everything.
We're on this side, the near side of the field. On the far side is the Kecoughtan coaching staff.
Coach Kirk Newsom right there in the center of your screen, Tim.
So we'll get as many shots as we can. Of course, this game pitting 2 Hampton City schools, being played at Todd Stadium. All the games are away from Darling this year. Same play they used earlier, this with some success, as picking up about 6. Pass play is completed out in the flat.
Well, that's a little a sore spot about the Hampton schools, Tim. We'll get to that as time permits.
So it's 3rd down and about 12. Ball marked just shy of the 24. They need to get up to the 36 for the 1st down. Two wide receivers to the bottom of your screen. Bugs wants to pass, gets some heavy pressure. He's going to be sacked.
He was sandwiched that time by between two people, number 20 and number 79, Tim.
Well, number
for the
20 would be
Bruins.
Kevin Cotman.
At 79 is Marcus Washington. And we do have a few bit of statistics here. Cotman is, Melendez Bird is the leading tackler, but Cotman is right behind him with 5 tackles in the first 2 games.
4th down and about 20. Kick is underway. Takes the Kecoughtan bounce and is going to be touched dead. And then we have a flag down back in the pack here. I'm not sure what that is exactly. Thrown in the general area of where Todd Kelly was.
Well, there was 2 Bethel ball players, and then the Kecoughtan guy was running across the field the other way. So I'm not sure what happened there, Tim.
No return attempt by the
they
Bethel
called a
Bruins.
face mask, Tim.
Face mask, which I'm not sure why they would. And Coach Kozlowski, of course, is extremely upset. He can't understand why they would call it. It was well away from the play. Apparently, a couple of the opposing players tangled a little bit, and someone might have jerked on the other's face mask.
That's the only thing I can understand. But there was no need to for any blocking or anything, because the ball, as you said, was no apparent run-back attempt.
Well, you know, boys will be boys. Somebody might have tried to block somebody, even though the play was not going to be a return.
Yeah.
Somebody blocked somebody and made him angry, and the other guy said, well, take this, and grabbed at his face mask or something. Nonetheless, it looks like Bethel will start 15 yards further back from where they had.
Well, Tim, are they going to mark it from where the ball is or where the flag is?
I'm still waiting to see. That's a good question. They're still discussing, as you can see on your screen.
Yeah, just tell that they call that face mask on number 88, Todd Kelly.
Todd Kelly was the guilty party on that play. So apparently he and one of the Warriors got tangled up, and Todd grabbed for a jersey and got a little face mask. Now, are they going to re-kick the ball?
Well, if they assume, maybe they're saying that the
they're
ball
saying
had
the ball
not
wasn't there.
changed
Yeah.
possessions yet, so that will be a 15-yard penalty, which will not be enough for a first down, Tim. But they will be able to have a 4th and looks like about 6 or 5.
So there's some confusion here.
The key, I guess, was had the ball changed hands yet.
Right. So as you said, I think you're absolutely right. The ball has been marked at the 31-yard line. They still are 5 yards shy. There you see the coaching staff on the near sidelines for Bethel, and this snap goes over the head of the punter. So this may or may not work out to Kecoughtan. He does get a good kick away, certainly considering the circumstances. It's a beautiful kick and excellent coverage downfield for the Kecoughtan Warriors. So
well, I tell you, number 16 for the Warriors was
that was Brian Reeves, and that's got to be a super effort on his part.
Tell you, he had an excellent kick on it, and they spotting the ball where, Tim, at the 33?
33, so that was an excellent transition for them.
About 15 yards. They picked up about 15 yards.
They picked up the 15, and it could have been a disastrous play for Kecoughtan because the ball was snapped over Reeves' head. He went back and got it. And we may have that on the replay for you. If we do, we'll show it to you.
I tell you, that was to be hurried like he was and to get that good a kickoff is tremendous.
And then his teammates were well downfield to cover the intended return. Setting up the screen, and this is going to go for an incompleted pass, and that's, again, a good play on the part of the receiver not to catch that ball. Now, before it was a lateral, this was a pure and simple forward pass, and Corey Hodge didn't make the play. Had he caught it, they would have ended up with a substantial loss.
Tim, I think we might have a flag on the play. Yes, there is a flag on the play, and if it's against the Bruins, you know the Warriors are going to make them march that back.
Well, they're indicating unsportsmanlike conduct against Kecoughtan. So.
Oh, wow. Well, That'll be
15.
something that you know that the Bruins will take.
The Bruins, of course, looking at an incomplete pass. Here we see the replay. Now, this is an excellent chance for us. The ball has gone over the head of Reeves. Reed, running for his life, gets a good kick away. And we'll follow it all the way down. He really got his foot into it. There's the ball return man. That's Marcus Muskelly, and he is wrapped up by, there you see 6'7", white uniforms from Kecoughtan.
And the reason they had so many uniforms down there because it took him so long to get the punt off.
Now, you know, is that rule of not being able to go downfield once the ball
That's only in the pros, Tim.
Is that right?
Yeah, where they have to wait till the ball is kicked. Yeah, that's just in the pros.
I was going to see, there's a lot of rules in high school that you and I are aware of, and a lot of our fans may or may not be, but that is a definite difference. Some other differences that we mentioned before. But that is a rule that in the pros, you're absolutely right. But my question was, even in the pros, I think once they go out of the quote standard lineup,
Right,
in other
if
words,
he
once
was
he has to
scrambling
scramble
like
for
that,
it, they
yes.
can. But nonetheless, in high school ball, it's not relevant because they can, in fact.
Tim, check this, but they are marking that off against the Bruins.
Well, apparently the referee pointed in the wrong direction when he indicated the penalty. So unsportsmanlike conduct is against Bethel. Initially, the referee had indicated that it was against Kecoughtan. He pointed in the wrong direction.
Well, that evidently is a loss of down too, Tim. I see it's second down on the down marker, so that brings up a 2nd and 25.
It's been a bit of a bizarre start to the ball game here. Fullwood is the quarterback. He gives on the draw play to Hodge. Hodge picks up about 8. Out close to the 25.
That was an excellent call because you know that they're going to come hard at you thinking you're going to put the ball in the air. And now we have change of quarterbacks again. Watney's going back in and Fullwood is coming out.
Hodge, through the first 2 ball games, that's Corey Hodge, has picked up 262 yards. There you see a replay of the draw play. It was an excellent opportunity.
And we need to pat our man that's doing instant replays on the back. We get a chance too, Tim. That's an awesome.
Here's Hodge again. Corey Hodge wrapped up on a good defensive effort by Joe Fluellen, another one of the two-way players for Kecoughtan.
Yeah, they have some.
There's the new Bruin outfit.
Oh, you had that
I
on
had that
earlier.
on earlier. I'm telling you one thing. I don't know who's inside of there, but my sympathies go out to that person, and let's hope he has a fresh 5-day deodorant pad, because that is one warm uniform. I didn't have the whole thing on.
Here's a good shot of that last play, and a good tackle by Fluellen.
Fluellen has been very successful so far for Kecoughtan. He's made a couple of catches. We're down inside a minute now, 18 seconds to go in the first quarter.
And we got Todd Kelly, and that's a bounce.
It's a one hopper, but the left-footed kicker gets a good kick away. Takes a Bethel bounce, taken at the 33. Trying to set up a return, no way on that play. Good defensive effort by Kevin Cotman, number 20, to wrap up the ball carrier, and the ball carrier was 22, James McCray.
And we got a clipping again, and now he's pointing against the Bruins on a clip there.
They're indicating clip against the
kicking team.
The kicking team, which has got to be unusual. Why would the kicking team be clipping?
Tim, there's been too much going on here.
I'm telling you, this has been a kind of a bizarre start to this ball game. I was looking for your list of the officials. I think you did mention their names, but
I sure did.
Wanted to pick up the name. The referee his last name is Victor. There you see the kick again. Maybe we'll be able to pick up.
You can't read that, huh?
No.
B-C-U-K.
Let's see if we can pick up what's out of our picture. You saw a good defensive effort by the Bruins, and Coach Kozlowski is talking to one of the officials and trying to explain to him what was wrong or is wrong. And Coach Koz is to say the least, a little upset. Things have not gone well for his team here in the first quarter.
Well, when you see Koz flapping his arms, he's not trying to get off the ground. He's trying to make a point, and he is very upset because there's been some heavy calls against the Bruins.
And this is a clip against the kicking team. Now, is this going to affect the possession of the ball?
No, the ball will stay with the Warriors.
All right, the clock is restarted, but for only the 2 seconds that remained, and that is the conclusion of the first quarter. So we've had a struggle here in the first quarter. There you see Coach Kozlowski wanting to get some clarification on that particular call. And that's Buck Victor, who's trying to explain to Coach Kozlowski.
I don't think he's trying to explain anything. I just think he told Koz to get out of the way.
Well, there you see him
get it
now.
with your team.
That's one of the things that I like about high school ball. You see the coaches come out on the field, and they can get literally into the huddle with the team and give the instructions as they wish them to be.
Well, we remember last couple weeks ago when we did the Tab Hampton game that Mike Smith went out there during the time off and literally placed his men on the line of scrimmage on a great goal line stand that they stopped Kirby from scoring in that fourth quarter.
Kecoughtan coming off one of their better years. Last year they were 7-3 overall, 6-2 in the Peninsula District under head coach Kurt Newsom. but they have lost a lot of players to graduation, and as you mentioned at the top of our game coverage, they are using a very young team, and as you said again, a wise choice on the part of opponents is to get them this year, because as this team earns and gains its experience, it's going to be tough. Kermit Bugs started off with a great first game in a loss, I might add, to Menchville. They lost 33-25, but threw 3 touchdown passes in that ball game. So,
well, they had 8 turnovers in the first 2 games too, Tim, and
you just can't do that.
Giving up the big play, and you just can't do that against a team like Ferguson.
Okay, Kecoughtan has the ball. They've marked it at their 45, and now further discussion.
Well, I think it's just got a timeout for an equipment problem. The official called an official's timeout that time.
That's Todd Kelly who is discussing that with the referee.
Well, when I talked to Kirk Newsom, the head coach over at Kecoughtan, he says what we want to do is try to make Bethel throw the ball, keep them off the ground, because they do realize that Corey Hodge is an excellent runner.
Bugs with plenty of time, throwing into a crowd. It's knocked away, touched by Fluellen, the intended receiver, although there were a group of players there, and there were 2 receivers in that area, James McCrae being the other.
The defender, Robbie Robinson, number 14 for the Bruins, went right up with Fluellen that time on the attempted pass reception.
Anyway, Coach Kozlowski was telling me about this new Bear uniform. He's real proud of it because the other one was a little bit dilapidated.
That's
in fact,
been around
I'm told
for about 20 years, Tim.
Told by the principal of Bethel. Well, I'll get to that in just a second. 2nd down and 10 at the Kecoughtan 45. Bugs fakes, looks in, throws. It's almost intercepted on a good defensive effort by number 41, Tracy Barkers of Bethel.
Oh, he read that all the way, Tim. He just stepped right in there, and had his timing been a little bit better, he'd have caught that ball. Nobody would have caught him. He could have walked into the end zone for a touchdown.
Tom Bailey, the principal of Bethel High School, was telling me before the game that they're going to retire the old dilapidated Bruin. Here we see a replay on this last.
In mothballs, I hope.
There you see, excellent job of being knocked away. Another defender on that play for Bethel is Shea Dixon, number 58. Give him credit on the play as well. 3rd down and 10. Bugs scrambles, looks downfield, throws. It's a first down if it's completed. It appears to be. Good job. Again, the receiver on that play was Steve Maddox, and he got 12 yards, and that'll be enough for a first down.
And we have a flag, and it looks like roughing the passer is going to be against the Bruins. So you could tack 15 yards on the end of that play, Tim. I tell you, Bruins right now are their own worst enemy out there. They just seem to be, you want them to be aggressive, but, I mean, what's that, at least 3, if not more, 15-yarders that's been called against the Bruins in his first half. Well, in 1 quarter and 20 seconds.
Really? And that'll make Kozlowski's hair get even grayer because he's not the type of coach that'll stand for that type of
right,
thing.
now, if we had the replay on that, we could watch what happened to the Joe Bugs after he threw the ball, but he is very elusive back there. It's hard to catch him. Oh, it's going to be from the point of the line of scrimmage, which still will give them about 5 more yards than what they had on the completion.
Roughing the passer is the call out against the Bethel Bruins. So Kecoughtan, with the help of penalties from Bethel, will continue now at the Bethel 40. A little more than 11 and a half minutes to go in the first half. We have no score. Kecoughtan looking for their first victory of the season. Good job of picking up about 14 yards. The ball carrier this time is Joe Becknell. And he picks up almost 15 yards.
Now, this is really strange, Tim, if you've noticed that when the Warriors hit the right seam and catch Bethel in the wrong defense, they really pick up a lot of yardage. But other than that, it's not 2 or 3 yards, either a lot or none.
Here you see a replay. Good job of keeping his balance and picking up 13 yards. Bugs, hands off right side. Another first down and more. All the way down inside the 10-yard line.
Oh, what a fine run by Curtis Irving. He was hit about 4 or 5 times, Tim, and refused to go down.
So Curtis Irving makes it 1st and goal for Kecoughtan, and Bethel is going to call a timeout. And there you see Coach Kozlowski coming out on the field. He needs to get his defense organized. Here we go. Irving, just the tail end of that play, all the way down inside the 10-yard line.
Well, I know Kozlowski's got to be hot. He was real pleased with his defense. I was talking to him earlier, and I asked him, I said, you going to run an even front, an odd front? He said, I'm going to run an even front, but he said, we're going to put a lot of tricks in there and keep people confused. But I don't know if the Warriors had somebody in his practices or not, but they're kind of running through that defensive line pretty well at will, Tim.
Bethel's a big team, too. So timeout here. A little more than 11 minutes to go. Kecoughtan with the best opportunity to score here in the first half. Bethel has not in any way threatened a score. Bethel coming off the victory last week. Kecoughtan looking for their first. Our congratulations early in the season here to the Phoebus Phantoms, a team that is off. There we go. Here's the replay of that good run. This is the run before the last play. This is the one that Becknell picked up good yardage. Anyway, the Phoebus Warriors.
No, Phoebus Phantoms.
The Phantoms, right? I said it right the first time. The Phoebus Phantoms are 3-0 and have allowed just 6 points in those first 3 games. So our congratulations to the Phantoms and their quick start. We got a big game coming up on the 8th of October between them and Hampton. Left side struggling for yards down close to the 5-yard line is Becknell. You know, that game is going to be a real good one. Of course, all the games we've got lined up sound real good. Hampton will be playing Phoebus in a game they played here. We got an injured player on the field. One of the Bethel Bruins.
Looks like it's number 51, Tim. That's Tracy Brown.
Yeah,
we do have a pretty good lineup coming up after this game.
Our next game, we won't be bringing you a game the weekend of the 24th, but then we'll have Hampton versus Kecoughtan, a Saturday afternoon game here. Then Hampton versus Phoebus on the 8th of October. Let's watch the replay here and see if we can see what might have happened to Tracy Brown.
And it looked like there was movement in the line of scrimmage to begin with, Tim, that some of the offensive ball players was moving prior to the snap of center, but there was no flag on there.
Just to continue, let me run down, if I may, our schedule, our tentative schedule here, not including any postseason play we might do. But, of course, the next game will be October the 1st, Hampton and Kecoughtan. Then October the 8th, Phoebus and Hampton, right here at Todd Stadium. And then the 15th of October, we'll be back here for a game between these Kecoughtan Warriors and the Phantoms. Then on the 22nd of October, at Hampton University, a Saturday afternoon game, Bethel will host the Phantoms. And then we'll wrap up our regular season coverage on the 5th of November with the big Hampton-Bethel game. All of those games, with the exception of the game between Phoebus and Bethel, will be here at Todd Stadium. Again, Tracy Brown still being administered to. We can certainly hope that it's nothing serious. He was holding his right leg as he was on the ground.
Well, as we watched that replay, Tim, he was going in for a tackle, and about 3 or 4 guys was coming in behind him, and he could have got his leg underneath somebody as they were making contact. We had talked earlier with AG, and I have talked with some of the coaches about not having a home field. It really has to be a disadvantage to the Hampton school system. As we can see, there's not a real big crowd here. We have seen big crowds at the Darling Stadium, but they've tore down the bleachers on the visitor side and the fence around, took the lights down, and now they don't know if they're going to do it there or not. So we need to get the city council to make a decision quick, and let's have some place for these tremendous athletes to play it on a home field advantage.
Tracy Brown coming off the field under his own power, we're happy to say. It looks like he might have suffered a cramp, but he is back on the bench and doing better, we're happy to see. Fumble, and the ball is loose, I believe. Bethel has it at the 4-yard line, so the Bruins come up with a big turnover.
Well, Tim, I like to say it looked like he just never really had a hold of the ball.
That is Marcus Washington, number 79, who pounced on that loose football, and the Bruins have dodged the bullet. It was 2nd down and goal at the 5, and they've come up with the fumble recovery.
Well, this is one thing, excuse me, Tim, that's one thing I was talking to you about earlier, that the Kecoughtan coach says you turn the ball over 8 times in the first 2 games, and here you turn the ball over at the 4-yard line, you're going in to score. The worst thing is going to happen, you're going to end up with 3 points, and then you turn the ball right over to a very potent offense with the Bruins.
And Brian Gwaltney is the quarterback for those Bruins. Gives to Corey Hodge. Hodge is stacked up at the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play. Over there for Kecoughtan on the stop, number 5, Thomas Brown, among others.
Chances are you see Coach Cosby a little conservative at this close to your own end zone, but I've said that in the past and I've been ruled wrong. So
that's what makes football an interesting ball game. As soon as you anticipate what's going to happen, that's when it won't happen.
Yeah, that's the truth.
Little or no gain on the play. Call it 2nd down and 10 from the 4. Falling across the 5-yard line for maybe a yard and a half.
That was a good job by number 77 on the Warriors. That's Herman Rouse, he's one of the seniors. He's 220 pounds, and he did a good job of grabbing Hodge's legs that time. Corey hit the line of scrimmage. There was an opening there, but he couldn't get through.
A gain of a little more than a yard, just across the 5, 3rd down and 9 for the Bruins. This is Hodge trying to turn the corner, is driven out of bounds at the 11-yard line, and that'll be shy of a 1st down. Good defensive effort over there for the Warriors was James McCray, number 22. And that'll be, as I mentioned, about 2 yards short, almost 3, for the 1st down. So the Bruins will be kicking from their own end zone. Todd Kelly, an experienced and most adept kicker, will stand at his goal line.
Excuse me, Tim. I'm sure he's looking for a better center than the snap of the ball than he got the first time when they bounced it back to him.
He is standing about 2 yards deep in the end zone. Just out of your picture. There we see him. He gets a low snap, but he has no rush, and he gets it away. Fielded at the 43 and then dropped immediately, and the Bruins have recovered.
Well, I tell you, I know the coaching staff is really going to feel bad because number 2 and number 21 were fighting over that ball, Whitley and Joe Fluellen, and that's what caused the fumble, Tim, was not because of the Bruins, but because 2 Kecoughtan Warriors were both trying to catch the ball simultaneously, and you can't do that.
There you see the scoreboard here at Todd Stadium. 8:50 remains, and we're knotted up at 0.
Here it is again, as you can see, as the ball's coming down, as you'll see, number 2 actually pushed, Fluellen actually pushed Brian Whitley out of the way to get that ball, and then he dropped it.
So a turnover, a second turnover in a row gives the Bruins new life. And Hodge has got big running room. He's across the midfield stripe over to the 44 of Kecoughtan.
Well, nothing will fire your offense up anymore, Tim, than get a turnover, and they got 2 in a row from them.
Pickup of about 12 yards. 1st down at the 39 of Kecoughtan. The Bruins have been unable to get on track. They have been penalized. They have taken highly unnecessary penalties. When I say unnecessary, these extra roughing the passer things and clipping when you're kicking and things like this are going to drive a coach crazy. Troy Fullwood is the quarterback. Over the middle, got a man wide open. That's Todd Kelly. Kelly bounces off a couple of Kecoughtan Warriors, and he gets another 1st down.
Well, that's the target you can see. 6'6", comes across the center of that field and wide open. That's the second 1st down in a row, Tim.
Ball is marked at the 33 of Kecoughtan. First down for the Bruins. Overcast day at Todd Stadium. Sprinkled rain earlier, but it's kind of held off here. There we see Hodge as he crosses the 30, down close to the 28 of Kecoughtan. Small crowd on hand, although we were really concerned because early in the ball game here there appeared to be. Here we go. AG, you got something for us?
Yeah, just talked with Tracy Brown, the injured Bruin, and he's going to be back in the 2nd half. No problem.
Well, that's good to hear. I know that you worry about somebody getting hurt and not being able to play anymore, so it's good to hear him be back in the 2nd half.
This is Hodges again. Crosses the 25 down close to the 23. Corey Hodge has been almost a one-man gang here in the first half. He's done almost
Tim,
all the ball carrying.
He will carry the ball probably 90% of the time, and Kaz thinks that he's probably very underrated. He expected a lot of things out of him last year, and as a sophomore, he just didn't have the experience. So he's coming in a little heavier, a little stronger, and with a whole lot more confidence this year.
Averaging about 5 yards every time he carries. Troy Fullwood at quarterback. 3rd down and 1. Fullwood hands off for the first down, and that is the first time that we've seen, or certainly first time in a while, that's Steve Fountain, number 25, who carries for the first down. So the Bruins have a drive going. They have the ball inside the Kecoughtan 20. They were on their own 4-yard line as the result of a fumble recovery just a little while ago, 3 or 4 minutes ago, and with the help of another fumble, they have kept this drive alive, and they're 1st and 10 at the Kecoughtan 19. 6 minutes to remain here in the first half. Hodges finds lots of running room. He's down across the 15 to about the 14. So Hodge continues to be the ball carrier of designation at the 14, a pickup of about 5. 2nd and 5. Coach Kozlowski getting some rhythm to the offense now. In the first quarter and into the early parts of the second quarter here, they were making mistakes that were preventing them from getting a rhythm.
Yeah, they were. Now we see that Troy Fullwood's back in at quarterback, Tim.
He's got Fountain and Hodge in the backfield. Rolling, looking downfield, has a man in the end zone, and it's intercepted. Intercepted, number 55, David Heath for the Kecoughtan Warriors, just leaped up in front of Todd Kelly and picked that pass off.
And David Heath is 5'11", and Todd Kelly is 6'6".
Well, that ball just thrown too low. It just wasn't up there. If they'd thrown it a little higher, of course, Kelly would have had a chance, but the ball never even got close to Kelly. And now a turnover by the Bruins gives the ball back to the Warriors. So each team gets close to scoring, and then they give it up.
Well, Tim, you got to kind of question that call if you're a Bethel Bruin, because they were moving the ball so successfully on the ground to turn around and to put it in the air and have it intercepted. That really hurts you.
Irving gets the handoff from Bugs, looking for a little breathing room. Here's the replay. There you see Fullwood rolling to his left, the right-handed thrower looking downfield. He's got a man in the end zone, but he's covered. Then the ball is just picked off nicely by David Heath. Good anticipation, and a ball never really should have been thrown, because he was covered not only in front of the intended receiver, but as well behind. So everybody was covered. He just should have taken his lumps and gone out of bounds, or just tried to do what he could. But hindsight is always 20/20. So it's 2nd down and 8 for the Warriors. Again, sticking to the ground, and they drive it out close to the 14. Time running down here. A little more than 4 minutes remain in the first half. Neither team has been able to score. Kecoughtan has had no problem scoring so far this season. They just haven't had any luck keeping other people from scoring against them until this game. And Bethel so far has been unable to put any points on. 3rd down now. 3rd down and about 6 for the Warriors. Inside of 4 minutes to go in the first half. Bugs wants to pass. Has someone... Oh, Todd Kelly just says, thank you. Thank you. I'll take it. No problem. Todd Kelly just waited, and the ball was thrown to him right into his hands. And the saying goes, can't throw it any nicer than that.
The defense was really set for the pass. Bugs had somebody hanging on his leg when he threw the ball. And there's another situation, Tim, when the ball should not have been thrown, and that's the 3rd turnover charge against the Warriors in this first half.
3rd on this drive. We're going to see the replay here. And it's just thrown right to him. The ball was intended for Fluellen, but it was never even close to him. Todd Kelly just waltzed into the end zone. So Kelly, who plays offense and defense for the Bruins, picks off a pass, says thank you, Mr. Bugs, and waltzes in for 6 points. Fullwood will try. No, it's a fake. And wide open again is Kelly for the 2-point conversion.
Excellent fake. That was excellent fake.
So the holder on the play was the other quarterback, Brian Gwaltney, and instead of holding the ball for Fullwood's extra point try, he simply stood up, spun around, and found Kelly wide open in the end zone.
Well, we were talking earlier to Coach Kaz about what happened over there at Norview, and he said it was just a comedy of errors. The first thing that happened is Fullwood come up and says, "Coach, I can't find my kicking shoe." And he says, "I think I left it out on the practice field." They ran out of the practice field. Sure enough, there it was, laying in the practice field right after they had mowed the practice field, so it was all cut up. And the shoe he's got on is a little different than what he's used to. So I don't know if that was the reason they didn't go for the extra point or not, but that was an excellent call, and it gives them an 8-point advantage at this point.
And we're told that from the sidelines, A.G. Womble informs us that that was, in fact, a fake all the way. I didn't think it was a muffed handle either. I thought it was a fake all the way.
But it looked almost like it was a missed handoff, and that maybe that's why it was successful. I don't know.
So Fullwood will tee it up and kick it off. Taken back at the 8-yard line. James McCray returns the ball for the Warriors. McCray had a good game against Menchville as well. McCray had 2 touchdowns against Menchville in the opening game of the season for the Warriors.
Well, in and on that tackle was Kevin Kottman, who is the leading tackler on the Bruins so far this year anyway, and one of the leading tacklers, and he just was right there. He's on the specialty units and everything.
So Kecoughtan trailing by a touchdown and a 2-point conversion, trying to get some points on the board before halftime. Long count by Bugs. Bugs will pass. Last time he did, it was picked off. This one is picked off. Same man, same result. Look out, Todd Kelly has 2 in a row.
That ball was just thrown ball, Tim. The nose of the football was just right down and had no chance of getting to the offensive player. And Todd Kelly says, "I'll take those any day of the week." That's 2 in a row, 2 plays,
Here we go. Here's
2
the
touchdowns.
replay.
Watch the flight of the ball, Tim. The ball is, the nose is down. Of course, if the nose had been up, I think Todd would have gotten it.
Again,
He's
2
prancing
perfect.
in the end zone, isn't he?
Oh, he was almost like, look out, here I come again. All right, so leading 14-0. Same situation as they did last time. This time the ball will be kicked. Fullwood gets it up, and it's good. So Fullwood connects for the extra point. The 30-yard pass interception, and just like that, the turnovers continue to plague the Kecoughtan Warriors. That's 4 turnovers in this last part of this first quarter.
Oh,
they
yeah,
had the fumble on the Bethel 4.
So we're talking in probably less than 6 minutes, Tim.
It's got to be absolutely frustrating beyond belief for the Kecoughtan Warriors. They had the ball in a 1st and goal at the Bethel 9. They got down to the 4-yard line, fumbled. Bethel had to kick on the good D by Kecoughtan, and on the ensuing punt, it was fumbled. Kecoughtan got it just near midfield. The Bethel did rather. And then gave it back to Kecoughtan, only to have Kecoughtan throw it 2 plays in a row right into the arms of Todd Kelly. So Todd Kelly picks up 2 quick touchdowns, and as quickly as you can bat an eye, Bethel's on top 15-0.
Well, the Warriors had 8.
If I interrupt you for just a minute, we're going to hopefully listen to Coach Kozlowski.
Okay, let's get down. We don't want to make the mistake of misalignment. That's what's killed us. That's why we give him the yardage. Because we're not aligned. We're not.
Let's go, Hump. Let's go, Hump.
All right, there we go. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I noticed that AG had the mic live down there, which can be dangerous at times.
Well, Kaz was just saying we need to quit making the mistakes that we have done in the early part of the ball game, and of course that's the key. But here we're talking about the Kecoughtan Warriors had 8 turnovers in the first 2 games, and they've already got 4 turnovers, Tim, and we're not even out of the first half yet.
And that's just in this quarter. I'm not sure. I don't have a stat sheet, but they may have had a turnover in the first quarter. I don't recall exactly, but I know that they had 4 in the last quarter alone, and 2 of those led to touchdowns. So it's got to be frustrating. The Kecoughtan Warriors are playing a good ball game other than those turnovers. I mean, they're moving the ball well. Their defense has been excellent. The defense has not allowed any points of these 15. But you can't give the ball right to the people like they have. Bugs pitches it back. Looking for running room is Curtis Irving. There you see a good shot of Irving as he picks himself up, or actually gets a little help from one of the Bruins. 15-0. We were scoreless for the first 15, almost 20 minutes of this game. And then at 3:35, Todd Kelly stepped in front of a Kermit Buggs pass and waltzed into the end zone. 2-point conversion play as we have a timeout being called by the Warriors. The 2-point conversion play from Gwaltney to, again, Kelly, as Kelly has all 15 points. Let's check that, 14 of the 15 points in this ballgame. Troy Fullwood got the other point on the extra point. There you see AG. AG, you ready down there for us? Or is he getting a drink?
I don't know what he's doing.
I saw him in our picture. I thought he may have something for us. He's looking around. There you see some of the fans in the stands here. This is Parents' Day. And there's Mr. Bailey, the principal, and then you see Don Musselman, I believe that is.
No, that's Coach Bolin Shoop. Yeah, that's Musselman next to Eason, and Coach Bolin Shoop over to the right. Coach Shoop will be presented a ball at halftime. They're going to recognize Bethel High School in 20 years in existence and the academic and athletic accomplishments that they have made.
So Tom Bailey there, the principal of Bethel, he was here for the Parents' Day ceremonies at the beginning of the ball game, and as you said, recognizing 20 years. Okay, well, we're going to take a brief pause. We'll be back with the conclusion of the first half right after this brief timeout. Well, while we were away, they called a play quickly. Buggs passed and completed the pass to his receiver, but his receiver coughed it up, and it's recovered by Robinson of the Bruins. So turnover number 5 for Kecoughtan here in the second quarter. Bethel gets the ball back just on their side of the midfield stripe. Troy Fullwood along the line of scrimmage on the option, pitches it back to Hodge. Hodge gets away from one tackler, and then finally is hauled down by James McCray. Kecoughtan has got to be frustrated. They have, as I said, I don't want to repeat myself, but they've played well except for the turnovers.
Well, they really have, Tim. That was an excellent call and a pass, and he picked up about 20 yards, but he was really hit good. It was a nice, solid tackle that jarred the ball loose. So it wasn't a fluke or anything. That was a good hit.
Pickup of about 3 yards. Fullwood pitches it back to Hodge. Hodge has some running room on the far sideline. He's bulldogged out of bounds by, again, James McCray, but not before he picks up substantial yardage and a first down.
And more importantly, he stops the clock.
Well, apparently we have a flag down, and the flag is going to be a holding call against the Bruins. So part of that gain was the result of a little help from someone grabbing onto someone.
A little help that they shouldn't have gotten.
A little help from my friends. I understand we're going to hopefully have a chance to talk. There you see Tracy Brown, who had come out of the ball game earlier here in the first half, limped out of the ball game. We're going to have a replay of that last effort on the part of Hodge. There you see Hodge, once he's gotten the handoff, he's going to turn the corner. There, you're going to be able to see the hole right there at the top. Look at, he's got a whole handful of jersey. That'll help you get an extra 4 or 5.
Yes, it would. And that's
so an excellent call.
That was an excellent call, and that's what's
an
really
excellent
nice.
job on the part of our replay team.
Yeah,
too.
give Joe Lewis a big hand. He did a good job on that. Picked that up well. So it's the first and 10, Tim. It's second and what, 7?
A timeout has been called by the Bruins with 51 seconds remaining. As I said, there's Tracy Brown, who had come out of the ball game earlier, and he is nursing a problem with his right leg.
Well, he's got some ice underneath that, right on his, looks like his knee. Looked like a little ice pack there.
And A.G. Womble will hopefully have a chance to discuss the goings-on here of the first half with Coach Kozlowski just before they head to the locker room here at halftime.
Well, there's a good shot of the Kecoughtan huddle at this timeout, and that's Coach Mike Horton in the center talking to the defense and trying to get them fired up and stop this Bruin offense, although all the scoring, as you said, Tim, has come from the defense and turnovers by the by the Warriors.
Coach Kozlowski is in his 15th year at Bethel. His overall record, 95, 43, and 5. The Bruins were even Steven last year, 5-5 overall, 4-4 in the district. But as far as they're concerned, they had a winning season because they beat
Yes.
you-know-who.
Yeah, their nemesis is Hampton High. When that Hampton-Bethel game is played at the last game of the season, boy, if they win that, they feel like they've had a successful season.
And that victory last year, only one of 2 defeats. And the ball fumbled on the exchange. Fullwood alertly drops on the ball. Only one of 2 defeats by the Crabbers last year, and that at the hands of the Bethel Bruins in the last regular season ball game. Hurry up offense for the Bruins as time continues to wind down. 35 seconds remain, and the clock is moving. Fullwood drops straight back, throws in the flat. Completes the pass, but not much happening after he completed, as Orlando Crawford was the man receiving that pass. And now a timeout quickly called by the Bruins. Just 18 seconds remains here in the first half. We will hopefully have some of the halftime ceremonies for you. I'm not sure exactly what our coverage will involve.
Well, I know
as you said,
I think we'll pick up some of with Mayor Eason and Don Musselman and Tom Bailey and former football coach Bolin Shoup, who's had an excellent coaching stint at Bethel High School.
Now take a look at that last play. Again, the pass completion to Orlando Crawford. There you see him, picks it up at the shoe tops, and then he doesn't have a whole lot to work with, but he gets 2 or 3 yards. And then again, almost a late hit there. Boy, look at Crawford ended up doing a somersault after he was hit. You know, I was looking at this, the Bethel High School program. Well, we've got a minute here, or at least we may have a little bit of time. They've had some incredible athletes that have moved on from their program. Skeeter Heath and a whole list of people who have gone on to bigger and better things at colleges and pros as well. When we have another break, we'll run down that for you. Brian Gwaltney is back in at the quarterback helm for this 4th down and 8. He gets the pass away, and it's picked off. Intercepted by Wesley Tuning. Check that. Number 1 would be Joe Becknell.
Becknell, yes.
So with 8 seconds remaining here in the first half, the Kecoughtan Warriors get the ball back. This is the kind of game that you don't really expect to see as the 3rd game of the season, these kind of turnovers. You might expect all these mistakes to occur in the first game. But,
yeah, well, even some in the second game, but there's a lot of turnovers by both teams.
Kecoughtan is just going to simply let the clock wind out. Here we're going to see the replay of the interception. Dropping straight back, having time, then getting rushed right toward the end. They threw it up, the ball was just short as Becknell threw it for Tuning. And here we go, AG with Coach Kozlowski.
Well, we haven't been executing our offense very well, and we've been stifled by a lot of penalties. Every time we've had a good play, it's been called back on us. I don't know whether, what the problem is, but we're going to have to work on it in the locker room at halftime.
Okay, what do you look for in the second half?
They're going to run their veer again. They're running an unbalance, which we prepared for, but our defense is not adjusting to it, and that's what's hurt us.
Good luck to you, Coach.
All right, AG, thank you very much. As the cheerleaders for the Bethel Bruins getting some refreshments here at halftime, and we are at halftime. Our score is Todd Kelly and Fullwood 15 for Bethel. Todd Kelly 2 touchdowns late in the first half on interceptions of 15 and 30 yards. And the Kecoughtan Warriors no score. We'll be back with second half action, but first this brief timeout.
McGruff here with Regina to sing Users Are Losers.
Users are losers and losers are users. So don't use drugs, don't use drugs. If you know a user even part of the time, tell them
to quit. Take a bite out of crime.
Users are losers and losers are users. So don't use drugs.
And help me take a bite out of crime.
As an athlete, it's especially painful to watch cocaine destroy those around me. How could these heroes with so much strength and discipline fall for cocaine? They thought they could control it. That's the big lie. No one controls cocaine. So don't blame them. Learn from them. If you're using cocaine, get help.
Call 1-800-662-HELP.
All right, we got Mayor Easton here today. Mayor, your thoughts on the first half?
It was well played. It was an interesting football game, and the turnaround, as we just saw, Kecoughtan drove the ball down and fumbled on the 2-yard line, and that gave Bethel the momentum, and now it's 15-0. Football games can turn on such short notice. Yeah.
Todd Kelly was at the right place at the right time a couple times there.
He sure is. I can't remember anybody, a game that I've ever seen, that one person intercepted 2 passes and returned for a touchdown in one half. That's quite unusual.
I think the city council and the school board have to be happy with the football program in the city of Hampton.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, looking at what Hampton has achieved, winning 500 games in its history. As you know, we had the banquet here in 1987 to honor that, and in doing all the research, it appeared that it was really only a handful of schools, maybe certainly less than 20 in America, that have ever done that. And I think from that, certainly Bethel has had a great deal of success, and Kecoughtan and Phoebus in recent years have come on strong, so it's very pleasing. It's not only good from a standpoint of representing the city, but it's good for these young people. And I think that the dollar value of the scholarships that have been given to the kids who have graduated and gone on to colleges has just been enormous. And I think that's something we all should be very proud of.
Well, Mayor Easton, former player for the Crabbers yourself and a big supporter of athletics, glad to have you out here today, and I know you attend many of these games, and thanks a lot for being here.
Thank you, AJ.
Thanks a lot. Mayor Easton. Thank you. Appreciate it.
What's going to do what? Yeah, they've already said that they're not going to. They are now looking at alternative sites again.
Thank you, Tom. My pleasure on behalf of the City Council to be here with you today and to present to Dr. Musselman and Mr. Bailey a proclamation in recognition of the Bethel High School Bruins football program. And I'd like to take just a moment to read this. Whereas in August 1960, Coach Bowles Stoops led the Peninsula First Coach Integrated High School Bethel into its inaugural year, culminating with a 5-3 record that put an overall 38 wins, 13 losses, and one tie record under his direction. And whereas in the fall of 1974, under the able leadership of head coach Dennis Sosrowski, the Bethel Bruins won the Peninsula District's first state Triple championship under the Plasma system to beat Woodbrook 24-21 and again captured this title in 1976. And we have in the leadership of Coach Cotton, as he is professionally called by the Bruins family, the Bethel Bruins captured the Peninsula District championships in 1974, 76, 79, and 1980, compiling an overall record possession of 97, 34, and 6 under his leadership. I don't know what it was. Is that where this comes from? What's that? History. Only one move in the season of that may be where he and it goes to the sound wins percentages of the state since its inaugural season in 1968 with an overall record of 140 wins, 59 losses, and 7 ties. And whereas many All-State, All-American, and professional players emerged as the home of Bethel High School with 60 consecutive football players competing outplaying Bruins. And whereas the Bethel High School Bruins football team is known for its phenomenal spirit and dedicated effort, and its legacy has been a give your best offer and thanks to the results on state and with the professional heart. And whereas it is the desire of the city of Hampton to congratulate and mention and recognize the Bethel High School football program for continuing the 20-year legacy of outstanding football accomplishment, bringing honor and distinction not only to Bethel High School, but to the entire city. And then therefore, James L. Hampton, Mayor of the City of Hampton, Virginia, do hereby wish head coach Dennis Sosrowski, assistant coaches, staff officials, team physician, team trainer, the field superintendent, cameraman, and last but not least, the 1988 Bethel High School Bruins taking continued success. Thank you.
They turned the microphone on up there. Thank you, sir. I'll let you hold that. Thank you, Mayor Eason. On behalf of Bethel High School, I'd like to make following comments, and we certainly appreciate Mayor Eason taking time today to come out and be with us. Also like to thank Dr. Musselman. And as we enter our 21st year and our 20th graduation class, we celebrate this year 20 years of academic and athletic excellence at Bethel High. One of the individuals who has played an instrumental part in those 20 years is Mr. Bolin Shute, Bethel's first head football coach. In August 1968, the new football coach came in, and that was Mr. Shute, and he was faced with a monumental challenge: play a varsity football schedule with only sophomores and juniors. The performance he orchestrated led the Bruins into a new year and made it into a commensurate winning tradition. From their initial 5-3 record, the Bruins posted a 38-13-1 record under his direction. Coach Shute was from the Vince Lombardi School of Football, and he'll know what I mean because we've seen it exemplified today. When you put the ball in the air, Vince Lombardi said, 3 things can happen, and 2 of those are bad. So those of us that watch bowl and shoot teams didn't see the ball placed in the air very often, but that's one of the reasons we saw Mr. Shute be successful. He was superb also at handling the press, as exemplified in a cartoon that I saw this morning that I want to share with you, because this was Mr. Shute's approach to handling the press. Coach, a lot of people have said it was a mistake for you to go for the 4th down play and deep in your territory last week. Do you agree with that? Coach Shute responded, I do now. And that was the case. We pay tribute today to Coach Shoup for his service and dedication to the Bethel Bruin family, and on behalf of all of us, present him with a ball. And now our cheerleaders will help me as we throw out miniature footballs with the superintendent helping and Mayor Eason. But first, let's have a big round of applause for Mr. Shoup as he dedicated his time in football to Bethel High. Thank you, Mr. Shoup. And thank you for being part of our halftime.
Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Bethel High School and the Hampton City Schools and the City of Hampton, we would like to thank and recommend again, Mr. Wade McGore and his Todd Stadium staff for operating so efficiently and courteously. We appreciate the Newport News school system and the City of Newport News for allowing us to utilize this fine facility.
Congratulations. Great. And I did a quick calculation. 38-13, that's 75%.
Channel 29, WHCS TV.
All right, we got Bolin Shoup and Don Musselman. Superintendent Bolin, first of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
I did a quick calculation, 38-13, 75%. Not many coaches retired 75%. Your thoughts?
Well, I guess I was lucky, had some good football players.
Okay, I think you won the state championship right after you left. You resigned there, and I think your team was actually the one that went on and won that state championship.
Well, but a lot of the players played for me. Coach Kozlowski did a super job that year and had a great football team. They deserved to win a state championship.
Don, your thoughts on this young man here?
Well, you know, I remember when he went out there, and he did a bang-up job of coaching. And it's too bad he didn't stay in it, but he wanted to go on and be an administrator. But his heritage, he comes from East Tennessee State, and I was over there when he was there.
Y'all both there at the same time?
Oh, yeah, well, that's why it'll never be the same.
Did y'all play football together?
No, we didn't play football, but Don was a great basketball player.
Okay. Well, Bolin, congratulations again, and Don, we might be able to use him if we get a vacancy here soon.
We'll do it. We'll do it.
Okay, thanks a lot for stopping by with us.
Half is underway. The ball was kicked to the Bethel Bruins to start the second half. They lead 15-0 at halftime. We're coming to you from Todd Stadium. There you see some of the coaching staff and players for the Bethel Bruins. It's second down at 5 at the Bethel 37-yard line. This is Hodge. Hodge has the first down as he crosses the 43 almost to the 44. Hodge had 14 carries for 67 yards in the first half, but he was not the scoring for the Bruins. That came from Todd Kelly on 2 successive intercepted passes from the quarterback Kermit Buggs of Kecoughtan, and they lead 15-0. And when I have a moment here, I'll run down some first half statistics for you.
Well, Bethel has been controlling the ball basically on offense, Tim, but their defense is the one that got all their points for them.
This is Fullwood, and he's being chased down and lunges forward for a couple of tough yards. He started the play at the 43. They'll mark it at the 46, and we're going to see a second down at 7. We got the play before this one to show you. This is the first down play from Hodge as he entered the center of the line and then bounced to the outside, enough for the first down.
Here's a good shot of Coach Kyle's on the sideline, and he wants his offense to execute a little bit better.
Second down at the 46. Second man through is Hodge. Hodge, close to midfield, is pushed back, but he'll get forward progress out close to midfield. To run down very quickly for you the statistics from the first half. The first downs for Bethel, they had 6. Kecoughtan was 7. The passing game was not successful for either team, as Bethel passed 6 times, completed 2, and they had 3 interceptions. Kecoughtan 2 completions in 9 attempts with 3 interceptions. And well, I'll get to run that down. Here we see the last play as Hodge got the call, went up the middle and almost to midfield. They've marked it right at the midfield stripe. Handoff to Fountain, number 25 for Bethel, one of the few times this evening that Hodge has not been the ball carrier. This is Steve Fountain, a senior fullback.
They were just trying to pick up the first down, Tim, but I believe they come up a little bit short. Depends on where he spots the ball, but if he spots it, I think he's going to be about a yard short.
Just to finish with my first-time stats here, as I said, 3 interceptions by each team, a total of 6 turnovers for Kecoughtan in the first half. Not only did they have 3 interceptions, but they fumbled the ball 3 times. So they've had 6 turnovers in one half, and that just isn't going to win very many ball games. It's 4th down and about a yard. With Corey Hodge in your backfield, you can certainly consider going for it. They're across midfield at the 48 of Kecoughtan. On the quarterback keeper, enough for the first down, it appears, as he is going to have the ball marked at the 46. He needed to cross the 47, so it will be a first down for the Bruins. They had 6, Kecoughtan had 7 in the first half. Carries on the ground, rushes 18 attempts for 83 yards for the Bruins. 67 of those yards picked up by Corey Hodge. Here's a replay of that first down play, the quarterback keeper.
Well, and they just saw the end of it, but Fullwood, who is a much stronger running quarterback than what Gwaltney is, was the one that was in there and did the quarterback sneak, Tim.
First down at the Kecoughtan 46. Hodge off the right side, across the 40 to the 39. I'm going to get these stats finished one way or the other.
I hear you, Tim.
18 carries for 83 yards in the first half for Bethel, 13 carries for 47 for Kecoughtan. Third down conversions, 2 of 5 for the Bruins, 1 of 3 for the Warriors. 1 punt for Todd Kelly, 29 yards. 1 punt, 50 yards for his counterpart at Kecoughtan. The return yards, 1 return for -8 for Bethel, 2 for 20 yards. Fumbles, 1 fumble, no lost fumbles for Bethel in the first half, 3 and 3 for Kecoughtan. This is Hodge, and he is met and he's driven back on an excellent defensive effort by Curtis Irving, number 8 for the Warriors. Final statistic, penalties, big story that kept Bethel from doing more damage in the first half. 4 penalties for 60 yards, 1 for only 5 yards against Kecoughtan. Time of possession almost equal, 11-16 to 12-44. Kecoughtan having the ball actually for a minute and a half longer in the first half than Bethel. I got those out of the way, now we can move on.
Now we can go on to the ball game.
That's right.
I'm glad you got to be as...
Now listen, I want to give a very large thanks to Don Lancaster for providing those statistics for us. Oh, what an effort, what an effort. Did he hold on to it? Yes. Juggling the ball at the entire distance for less 5 yards, Orlando Crawford did an excellent job of concentrating on the ball and never lost it. It looked like for 5 yards he was going to drop it, but he didn't.
Sure did. That was a tremendous job of concentration because he knew he was going to get hit at any second.
Orlando Crawford juggling the ball as it was only a foot or 2 off the ground, and he was able to hold on to it for a first down for the Bruins. So leading by 15, they're threatening again at the Kecoughtan 28. Hodge trying to go wide is going to be stopped after a gain of perhaps a yard. Time eating up here in the first, or check that, the third quarter. 6 minutes and 40 seconds remains. Bethel has had the ball for that entire period of time here in the second half. Gain of a yard on the play. Second down and 9 for the Bruins.
The Bruins seem to move the ball better when they're going off tackle than if they try to go around the end, Tim.
This is Fountain up the middle. He gets across the 25 Kecoughtan indicating they had recovered a loose ball, but no indication has been shown to us by the officials, and no one will be coming, as the ball was still in the possession of the Bethel Bruins across the 25. It's 3rd down and about 6. Coach Kozlowski pacing the sidelines, keeping a close eye on the team. He's got to be happy they're ahead, but I don't think he was pleased with their overall play in the first half. Fullwood hands to Hodge. Hodge on the far side of the field is driven out of bounds, and he didn't even get close to a first down.
He barely got back to the line of scrimmage, Tim.
There you see the coaching staff for the Kecoughtan Warriors and some of the players. Timeout is being called, and Bethel has called that timeout. They lead 15-0. You know, I was looking into the Bethel program, as I mentioned. They always do a super job of putting together information about the teams, both football and the other teams as well, baseball, basketball, and so forth. Looking at some of the list of players that have gone on to national fame for the Bruins. Skeeter Heath, of course, is a PGA golf pro. Harrison Davis, who played for the Bruins, is now with the San Diego Chargers. Just some of the pro teams that have benefited by them. Jerry Holmes with the Jets.
Now he's now with Detroit, but
is that right?
Yeah.
And Derwin Tucker with the LA Rams.
John Sturdivant is with the CFL Winnipeg.
Sean Gale, probably one of the more renowned athletes, certainly by national attention, as he has played with the Chicago Bears for several years. And then a lot of colleges have benefited from the athletic programs, not the least of which is Duke, William & Mary, West Point. Several players have gone to West Point and William & Mary. There we see a replay on that effort by Orlando Crawford. He just did a super job of sticking with that ball. Excellent job on our camera work there to show that to you, but he had the ball just literally skimming the top of the ground, and he stayed with it and made the grab. That kind of effort wins ball games. Fullwood wants to plant. He does. He throws downfield, has a man wide open in the end zone. Touchdown.
That was a blown coverage, Tim. Number 1 for the Bruins. Wesley Tuning was wide open, but he was covered up until he got about 5-yard line, and the defender just let him go. I guess he thought he had some help from behind, but he didn't have any help because he was wide open. That was an excellent call by the Bruin coaching staff.
Well, it was 4th down and short, and they may have crossed up the Kecoughtan Warriors because they did find Tuning wide open. I mean, he was so wide open, and Fullwood threw the ball right in his arms, so you couldn't have asked for better execution on the play.
No, you couldn't. But that was a passing situation because it was 4th and 7 because he lost a little bit on that the 3rd down play when he tried to sweep.
Fullwood out of the hold of Gwaltney. Converts on the extra point. So our score now reads Bethel 22 and Kecoughtan nothing. And again, if we have that for you, we'll show it to you again. But a super job. Fullwood took the snap and rolled to his right and then just simply planted. And as you said, the coverage was blown as Tuning just couldn't have been any more open.
Well, we don't have that on tape, Tim, but what happened also was that Fullwood was kind of thrown back across field again because he was rolling to the right and threw back to the left, but Tuning was wide open in the end zone. There was nobody within 10 yards of him, so those are the kind of passes you better complete, but I know Coach Kai's got to be happy now. His offense has got some points on the board.
And his offense had suffered from 3 interceptions in the first half. So a completed touchdown, a 25-yard pass from Fullwood to Tuning. The extra point by Fullwood was good. And they now lead, Bethel does, 22-0. A short kick taken by one of the up men at the 25. Looks more like a rugby scrum.
Yeah, that was Nick Bowen who returned that punt, but it looked like almost like a scrum.
So the Warriors now, trailing by 3 touchdowns, will try and get untracked. We know Kermit Buggs can throw the ball. He did so extremely well against Menchville in their opening game. threw for 3 touchdowns. And he'll need that type of effort now if Kecoughtan is to get back in this ball game. 5 minutes and some change left here in the third quarter. Bethel took the opening kickoff and scored and used almost 7 minutes of time. Bugs gives off and stopped almost immediately is Joe Becknell. There you see Becknell, number 1. Continues to be overcast here at Todd Stadium. We have not had any rain, however, and I'm happy to see that. The field here at Todd Stadium getting a workout this year, and I have to take my hat off to the people in charge of the field here. The stadium, the field is just in excellent condition.
It really is, Tim, but it's getting like 3 games a weekend played on it.
And early movement by the left side of the Kecoughtan line. I shouldn't point out, but I will. David Robbins, number 78, unfortunately must have not heard the snap or just simply lost track of it, because he left about a week before the rest of the team.
A week before.
They're going to mark off 5. So Kecoughtan continues. They're going to watch the replay here. Watch number 78 on the right-hand side of your screen. There you saw him. He says, oops, oh my goodness, look out. So it's 2nd down. 2nd and 15. No movement this time. This is Irving, as Irving blows by on the right side, picks up about 6 or 7. Good effort by Irving. Melendez Bird, number 81, the leading tackler for the Bruins coming into this game, in there to make the stop on Irving. 3:35 here in the third quarter. Relatively cool day at Todd Stadium, in the temperature in the low 70s, just about right for the players. 3rd down and 7 for the Warriors. Bugs gets some pressure, throws, and he's got it completed on a super effort all the way down to the Bethel 30-yard line. That's 21, Brian Whitley.
He did an excellent job of concentrating, because Robbie Robinson for the Bruins went up and actually got a piece of that ball, Tim. And he actually caught that after it was deflected. And I don't know how far play that was, but that had to be about 40 yards or more.
Well,
and here's a good instant replay of it.
At the 36.
Well, he's throwing it from the 30, Tim.
Line of scrimmage at the 36. He carries it before he's driven out of bounds at the 30. So a 20, 30, 36-yard pass play. Bugs again drops straight back, throws for the corner, and it's just a little overthrown, as on the pattern this time was James McCray, and McCray just couldn't get to the ball. I think that was a timing play. He more or less threw to a spot.
Well, he did, Tim. He threw to the right to the end zone and just slightly overthrown. But that's a timing play, and that's something that you got to work on a lot to get down. But that was a pretty good pass.
I'm impressed with the arm that Bugs has. Unfortunately for him, 2 of the passes have been caught by the opponents for touchdowns, but he's had a pretty good game. At least he started doing so here in the second half. Right side carry for Irving. Irving picks up a couple of yards. It'll bring a 3rd down and about 8 for the Warriors. 2:22 left here in the third quarter. Our next coverage will be a game being played on the 1st of October. That'll be the Hampton-Kecoughtan game, I believe, if I remember correctly. Third down and 8. Bethel showing blitz, and in doing so, in their efforts to throw off the offense, they cross that imaginary line there.
Yeah, you can't get in that neutral zone. In the pros, you can jump across and then get back, but in high school, if you get across, they'll blow the whistle. That's 5 yards, so that's really a
see it on the
plus.
replay here.
Yeah, that's a Fullwood, who the linebacker sees trying to catch the cadence and get him offside, but now that brings up a 3rd and 2 rather than a 3rd and 7.
Excellent work on the replay
And
there, fellas.
we have a timeout, Tim, charged to the Kecoughtan Warriors. And you was talking earlier about the next ball game we have, which will not be until October.
October 1st, I believe.
October the 1st, where we come back up here at 2 o'clock in the afternoon for the Kecoughtan-Hampton ball game. And I'd like to let the fans know, of course, that we will pick and there's a good shot of our crowd here.
Well, these are some of the cheerleaders, I understand, from the Northampton League.
Right, absolutely. The cheerleaders and the players from the Northampton Little League were given free passes to come to the ball game today.
There you see some of the Bethel cheerleaders and some of the parents and fans here at Todd Stadium. I'm happy to see that the rain has held off. It was
I am too.
starting to sprinkle just at game time, and fortunately for the fans, the rain has not happened yet. And hopefully it'll hold off for the next 12 minutes of playing and another minute and 55 here in the 3rd quarter. Timeout is over with. Kecoughtan with a 3rd down and 3. Ball is marked at the 23. They need to get across the 20 to keep this drive alive and hopefully get back in the ball game. Kermit Buggs, the quarterback. The junior calls the signals. Fumble. And the turnovers continue to hurt the Warriors.
And that not only it hurts you for a turnover, Tim. I'm not trying to minimize that, but you just called a timeout. You sat down, told him what you wanted to do. It was a fake in the line with the veer, and he was either going to keep or pitch it to pick up the other 2 yards for the 1st down, and you turn the ball over, as we can see here. Buggs turns around, hands, and just actually loses the ball. And he was either going to keep it or pitch it to Becknell. And that's got to be, how many turnovers that up? 6?
That's 7. They had
7.
Three fumbles and 3 interceptions in the first half, and it's number 7 now for the
that's
Kecoughtan
almost as many as they had on the first 2 ball games. I know those coaches over there at the Kecoughtan Warriors side are just beside themselves trying to figure out what they can do. There's a good shot of AG. Very serious.
He can also hear us.
Oh, that's right. I can't say too much about him this year.
He looks like he's a CIA guy. He has this earplug in there, and he's a walking.
And his dark glasses, so you can't see his eyes. But I know he's got his eyes on those cheerleaders.
Now, wait a minute here. I think Mrs. AG would take offense to that. 1:42 left here in the 3rd quarter. 22-0 in favor of the Bethel Bruins. Coach Kozlowski giving instructions as he does it. Koz's voice has been gone for years, and after each game, he is absolutely a whisper. He can't even be heard. Stacked up after a short gainer is Corey Hodge of Bethel. In among others was number 72, Tony Alvis.
But sometimes, Tim, Bethel will come out and line up in an unbalanced line, and they'll throw, instead of having 3 men, they'll have 4 men on the one side of the center and try to outman you that way. And occasionally, that's what they'll try to do. And, of course, the coaching staff over on the Warriors side, they're aware of that, and they have practiced against that.
No gain on the play to speak of. 2nd down and 10. Gwaltney, the quarterback, gives to Hodge. Hodge has it knocked loose, and it looks like Kecoughtan has recovered. They have. So this one is recovered by Joe Fluellen, number 2 of the Kecoughtan Warriors, and they are alive again with 44 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter. You can see the disgust on the face of Dennis Kozlowski, as the Bruins have had more than their share of turnovers. They had 3 interceptions and now a fumble. We're going to watch the replay.
And they've really got the ball back, only about 10 yards difference than where they gave it up, Tim.
Hodge has the ball. Well, we won't be able to see the end of that as we're back to the live action. Kecoughtan at the Bethel 31. Buggs wants to pass, steps away from a couple of would-be tacklers. Now looks across the middle and has it thrown nicely but not held onto by Jacques Brown, number 81. He had a good chance to catch the ball, and just one of those times he kind of took his eye off of it just as it got to his hands.
He most certainly did, because that was right in his hands.
And we'll see the replay of that fumble and the conclusion of so. Here's his Hodge. He's got the ball, and he's hit and arm tackled, and you can see the ball stripped away real nicely by Joe Becknell, and then fallen on very alertly by Joe Fluellen. So Becknell caused the fumble, and Fluellen covered it for the Warriors. 20 seconds remain here in the third quarter. Second down and 10. Movement in the backfield, throw the flag, take 5 off. So the Warriors plagued now by some
Those are mental mistakes, Tim. That's strictly a mental mistake when your backs forget the count or leave too soon, as we had one of the linemen did earlier.
Well, that's what happens. You have a young team, and they're going to make mistakes. These young men are just 14, 15, 16, 17 years of age. Some of them are as young as 14, I'm sure. In the ninth
Many
grade.
of these Kecoughtan ball players are 14, 15 years old, Tim.
So let's not be too harsh on them. They are still in the learning process. You see these mistakes made by everybody at every level. And unfortunately, as you gain the experience, you pay through these experiences by having teams score on you, as Bethel has done against Kecoughtan. Bugs with plenty of time, throws it behind the receiver, and a good job of holding on for the first down.
So that was Steve Maddox, and he had to turn around, catch that ball from behind him, and picked up that first down.
In on the stop, number 45, Steve Hodges of Bethel, among others. But an excellent effort by Maddox as he hung on to the ball. And we're going to see the replay now. Bugs has good time, throws it wide open behind the ball player, and then 3 Bethel Bruins are there to wrap him up, but not before Kecoughtan gets the first down, and we have come to the conclusion of the third quarter. So we've played 36 minutes, and the Bethel Bruins hold on to a 22-0 lead over the Kecoughtan Warriors. Other games occurring this weekend have Tab playing Denby Saturday night, and I understand now we've got AG down on the sideline, and with his favorite subject matter, some of the young ladies from the Bethel Bruins.
Tim, you're right about that. There's no question. These young ladies have to be happy right now, and your name is?
Carla Anthony, Amy Goodson, Laura Storm, Carla Williams.
What are the cheerleaders doing to cause this score to be 22-0?
What are we doing? We're just jumping around and being happy and staying spirited so that we can keep going and get some more points on the board.
Was there ever any doubt in your mind that the game would be like this?
Of course not. We just back our team as best as we can, and we know they'll pull through.
All right, what do you like most about being out here today?
The fact that now it's stopped raining and that our team's winning, as they always will.
What about the rest of the season?
Well, we're going to beat everybody.
Okay, good luck to y'all. Y'all doing a great job. Tim and Bob, some of Bethel's finest young ladies right here.
Oh, thank you, AG. And I knew, Tim, it was just a matter of time.
You know, at the Hampton Tab game that we were happy to do, AG didn't get a chance to talk to too many of the cheerleaders because we were on the Tab side, and I think he felt intimidated.
Yeah. Well, there was on the enemy side for sure.
This is Becknell down to the 15. And the Warriors still looking to get back in this ball game. They trail by 22 points. If you joined us late, the scoring in the first half was all that of Todd Kelly. Now, he didn't do so on the receiving end of passes from his quarterback. He did so, and we see the replay of Becknell's run. Kelly's scores came from the passes of Kermit Buggs, as on 2 successive interceptions, he returned them for touchdowns, then made a 2-point conversion to make it 15-0, and then a touchdown here in the third quarter has made it 22-0. That touchdown being a 25-yard pass from Fullwood to Tuning, and the extra point by Fullwood is good. So it's 22-0, and Kecoughtan has still got some life here. They've got a third down at the 14-yard line of Bethel. Big third down for Kecoughtan. This could be the chance they have to get a score here and hopefully get back in this ballgame.
Well, this is a passing situation, And we have not seen Bugs run the ball, but he is a scrambler, and he's very elusive back there before he throws it.
He's got 2 wide receivers to the near side of the field, and that's where he's looking. He wants to pass. This one is thrown short and behind the intended receiver, number 22, James McCray.
And Tim, I don't think that was far enough for the first down anyway, but I believe you're at the point right now where you've got to go ahead and go for the touchdown or the first down. You can't, the field goal at this point, I just don't know if that I would go for the field goal. I think I'd be going for trying to get the first down or touchdown.
4th down and 6. Clock stopped with 10:29 left here in the ball game. And Kecoughtan, as you might expect, is going for it. They've got Fluellen to the near side and McCray to the far side. Bugs appears to be running the option, and he's not going to get enough for the first down. So Kecoughtan will give the ball over to the Bruins on downs as kind of an interesting call. I'm not saying it was wrong, I'm just saying it was interesting.
Well, you know that Bethel was looking for the pass, and he figured, well, maybe they'll be dropping off the line of scrimmage, and if you run that option, maybe there will not be a linebacker there, and you can pick up that 6 yards for the first down. He came up about a yard short, Tim, and there it is, as you see on the instant replay.
He got a good plant there. He planted his left foot and tried to cut back in, but the Bruin pursuit was just too much, and they were there to stop him shy of the first down. He needed to get about 1.5 yards more than he got. So the effort by the Warriors comes up short, and the Bruins will take over leading by 3 touchdowns. Now, Gwaltney is confused or short a man or something and has to call a timeout. And of course, there you see Kozlowski saying, why? Way back in the old days when yours truly was doing games for Warner Cable of the high school, we dubbed a name on Coach Kozlowski.
And what was that?
And we called him Killer. Killer Kozlowski, because of his great attitude, his win attitude, and his vibrance. He's always in the game from the time that the bus stops at the stadium until they leave to go home. He is in the game. He has a killer instinct. He wants to go out there and win.
Well, he's a little upset at Steve Fountain. Steve Fountain was not in the ball game and needed to be. They only had 10 men in the lineup, and of course they were missing their blocking back. And you don't want to give your ball to your top runner and not have a blocking back in front of him. And I'm sure that's kind of upset Coach Kaz a little bit. But you know, you lead 22-0. You got 10 minutes to go in a ball game. You can ease up a little bit, you would think, but like you said, Coach is that way. He's going to be that way and fired up until the end of the game.
1st and 10 for the Bruins. Hodge gets the call, spins away from a couple of tacklers, and gets out close to the 15. They'll mark it at the 14-yard line. Pick up a 4 for Corey Hodge, who has to be pretty close to 100 yards on the ball game. Had 67 unofficially in the first half. And he will almost always be the ball carrier. Coming into the game, he had carried 47 times, and Steve Hodges had carried only twice. There's Hodge again. Dip and do out to the outside. He's driven out of bounds, but not before he reaches out to the 29-yard line.
Well, he got a good block on the outside there. They sprung him, Tim. I didn't get to catch the number of the Bruin who threw the block, but that was an excellent block that allowed him to get outside and pick up. Maybe we can pick it up on the instant replay.
Lo and behold, a new addition to our coverage this year is the instant replay. There you see Hodge going to the outside. He's going to lower his shoulder, and then he's going to fake the defender there. He's going to turn that corner, which is, of course, what you have to do. Did you pick up the number of the blocker?
No, he was laying on his back, but it was an excellent job.
This time, the Bruins counter with a new name and new number in the ball game for them, and that's number 45, Steve Hodges, who I mentioned earlier had carried the ball twice in the first 2 games for 85 yards. He certainly has been efficient with his carry, averaging over 40 yards a carry, if that statistic is correct.
Well, I hate to tell him, but that carry just dropped his average down a little bit.
His average is going to suffer considerably, although he did pick up a solid 6, almost 7 yards. So the Bruins now putting some different faces in there. Fountain maybe came out for at least one play as a result of his lapse of memory about the earlier play. But he's back in there blocking for Hodges. And this is Steve Hodges, who has stayed in the ball game. Corey Hodge has been given a breather by the Bruins. He's close to the first down, but he will be maybe a yard shy of the first down. They need to cross the 39, and they've marked it just shy of the 38. Here we see the replay. This will be Steve Hodges getting the handoff. Hodges is a junior, as well as the majority of the backfield for the Bruins. So Bethel with a bright future. Going for the first down.
And this is going to be close, Tim. Very close. You'll get your eagle eye out, because that depends on where he spots that ball. Oh, he's going to give it to him.
He's going to get it by about a foot or 2 there. He more than got it. There you look into the stands of the Kecoughtan Warriors. Here's the replay on the first down. 3rd down and a yard. You see Brian Gwaltney put his head down and follow the blocking of the center of that line. Looked like number 55, Brian Hargrove, was the lead blocker. So a first down for the Bruins, just shy of the 40-yard line. Pitch back comes to Hodge, who has returned to the ball game. Hodge picks up about 6. Just looking down this roster here, Gwaltney is a junior. Fullwood is a junior. Steve Hodges is a junior. Here we go. Here's the pitch back to Corey Hodge, and he is a junior. So they've got a real bright future with the backfield at Bethel. This is you're talking about Kecoughtan's young team, but of course, I'll get to a point I want to make here in just a moment. 2nd down and 5. Got a man open. That's Todd Kelly. Kelly is knocked down as he gets to the 20-yard line. 30-yard line. Point I wanted to make was Dennis Kozlowski talking with us before the game, and we had a chat with him, which was really enjoyable, was telling us that he's got to give a lot of credit to his offensive line. His offensive line is doing a really good job.
And you can see the protection that the quarterback gets before he passes the ball, and just an excellent right in the seam. And Todd made a good job, did a good job of catching that ball.
And he was hit hard after he caught the ball.
Well, you'll see that a lot of the Bruins seniors are on that line of scrimmage, and some of them have been playing for 3 and 4 years for him.
Hodge finds nothing inside, so he bounces outside and gets about 4 or 5. So again, the sign of a good runner, when you go to that hole and there's nothing there, then that's when you become innovative, and you better find something to do, and Hodge did a good job that time. He picked up 4 when he might have only gotten 1. Mark it at the 26 of Kecoughtan. There you saw just the very end of that play as Hodge was pushed out of bounds. 6 minutes and 17 seconds remain in the ball game. And now an official's timeout as we have an equipment problem for one of the Bruins. I want to take the opportunity here to thank the fine folks here at Todd Stadium for all of their assistance and help in setting up for this ball game. This is Fountain struggling for a yard or 2. As it's always enjoyable to come up to Todd Stadium. It's an excellent facility to broadcast the game from. You have such a nice high angle for the cameras.
Oh, it is. It really makes it nice for us. Of course, every place we have gone, we've been very fortunate, and the people have just bent over backwards to assist our crew in setting up.
This will be our first game of the season. A couple of weeks ago, pitted the Hampton Crabbers versus the Tab Tigers, a game that I just enjoyed as much as any game I've seen in a long time. Win or lose, the effort on both teams was superb. Gwaltney is decked after he throws it. He completes the pass. It's going to be close to the goal line, just a foot shy. So the effort to get into the end zone by Rodney Bowens falls just a foot shy. Gwaltney paid the price when he let that ball go.
He did that. He was really hit when he delivered that ball, but I thought he would be able to get the...
Watch this.
Here we go.
I'll interrupt you here. Watch Gwaltney as he rolls to his left. He's a right-handed thrower. Then he is decked, but he throws the ball right into the open arms of Bowen.
Now watch him as he struggles to get that ball into the end zone.
Oh,
it looks like the ball got in, but they called him down just as he went down.
Oh, boy, that was close. Well, he doesn't get credit for the touchdown, but Bowens gets a 23-yard gain, and Corey Hodge puts the capper on it as he dives over from 1 yard out. So a 1 yard dive by Corey Hodge as he's had a great afternoon here. He's got to be up near 100 yards on the ground, and with just 5:05 left in the ball game.
Well, Tim, this is going to be tough to pick player of the game for each team today. We have some outstanding performances by more than one ball player. So when we do pick, it doesn't mean that we're slighting anybody else out there who's done an excellent job.
Fullwood will try the extra point. It's up, it's long enough, and it is good. So another touchdown here in the second half is added by the Bruins. They've gotten 2 touchdowns in this half, 2 touchdowns in the first half. Here we see a replay of the dive by Corey Hodge as he well cleared the line of scrimmage. He was in there with no problem at all. And I'm told that AG's pick for player of the game is Todd Kelly, and that's hard to argue with.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. The only other one that I might go with would be Troy Fullwood, who kicks off as quarterback, has played defense, has done everything too, done a good job. But, yeah, I would probably go along with AG on that.
Corey Hodge has had an excellent ball game. He's done extremely well with the ground attack. Corey Hodge has, so he would be another consideration. On the Kecoughtan side of the ledger, I have to feel that Bugs has done a pretty good job, as has Joe Becknell.
Joe Becknell has done such, not only plays offense, but he's caused a couple of turnovers on the Bruins, so he's doing a good job defense too. So we'll defer on that one until see what happens towards the last 5 minutes, Tim.
Coach Cox always coaching. Kickoff is taken at the 2-yard line. This is Irving. Irving shoots right up the middle and will be hauled down at the 30. So Kecoughtan now has given up 29 points in this ball game. They've given up, I think, about 55 points in their first 2 ball games. So they just haven't been able to get the defense to do the job it needs to do. And on the other side of the coin, they held Bethel extremely well in the first half. The only points coming in the first half on interceptions by Todd Kelly.
Well, not to make any excuses for the Warriors, but the Warriors lost probably their best defensive ball player in Curtis Wilson, who broke his collarbone, and he had a lot of experience coming back, and that has hurt them, and they've given up a lot of points, as you've said.
On the draw play, picking up about 5, and that is Becknell, number 1 rather.
Becknell has done just about everything. He's played defense, played offense. He's had a good game, Tim.
Yeah, I would give my vote for the Kecoughtan side of the ledger to Becknell, either Becknell or Bugs. I'll go with Becknell for the Kecoughtan player of the game. And again, I echo what you said. Every player out here gives a solid effort, and they all deserve recognition, and we're certainly not slighting anyone if we've kind of instituted this little player of the game type thing just for our own benefit. It's certainly not meant to slight anybody. Bugs with lots of time, throws along the far sideline. It's out of bounds as McCray was his intended receiver, but he really threw that away as much as any because McCray was well covered.
Yeah, number 26 for the Bruins was stride for stride, and that's James Overby, was right with him on that pass, and it was out of bounds, as you stated.
Clock stops with 3:54 remaining.
Here's a good shot of that, Tim. And he gets pretty good pretty good protection.
Oh, he had excellent time. He had more than enough time to throw the ball. He just had a man that was too well covered. 3rd down and 5. Kecoughtan hoping to get some points. Bugs has all kinds of time, and now he flips it to Irving on kind of a safety play. Irving trying to get away from one tackler, gets all the way out close to midfield. So Irving, on an individual effort, gets the first down.
I thought they had him tackled about 7 yards further back down the field.
But he dragged James Overby for about 5 or 6 yards.
He wasn't denying it. Here's a good shot of this.
As I say, kind of a safety valve play. Well, this is the play before that. This is the one that we didn't get a chance to see the very finish to. This was the intended pass from McCray, and he was so well covered, it was just simply out of bounds. So the first down for the Kecoughtan Warriors at their 49. McCray comes to the near side. He's split out in a flanker. Bugs again to pass. Finds Irving again. Irving has one hand on it, but can't get both.
That would have been a tremendous reception because it would have been all with one hand if he'd have caught that ball.
But Irving is unable to find the handle, and the ball falls incomplete with 3:02 remaining. See the replay. This is the play before. This is the one that he just couldn't handle. See, he had his hand on it, just couldn't pull it in. So 2nd down and 10 from the 49, and we've got motion and players offside and flags everywhere.
Now we need to know if Bethel was drawn offside or what. I think they're going to call it against the Warriors. Yes, they are.
So the down will remain the same, but it'll be 2nd down and 15 now. As they'll mark it, there you see the aftermath, but the Warriors pulled the Bruins offside. So the illegal procedure call against Kecoughtan makes it 2nd and 15. McCray is wide to the right out of your picture. This is Becknell. Becknell has got lots of running room, and then he coughs it up as he goes down. Will they say no, that's a good call.
He was down before the ball came out. I believe that was a good call,
Tim.
Yeah,
I think so too. The official's going to rule that the ground caused the fumble, and the ground cannot cause a fumble, so therefore the ball is dead as soon as he hits the ground. So a break for Kecoughtan of a sort. It could have been the other way around. Could have just as easily been called a fumble.
Here we get to see that, Tim, and you'll be able to see as he hits the ground with his back. I believe that's when the ball comes up.
Draw play. Becknell finds a hole big enough for a Mack truck to go through. He just simply goes right through it. He's got good speed, good quickness. Cuts away from one would-be tackler. That's Overby chasing him. Then he's tripped up. I don't know. I don't know. You know, that's the nice thing about the replay. I'm not so sure that was a good call in retrospect. Nonetheless, it stands as a completed play, and Kecoughtan retains possession.
That ball definitely looked like it was loose, Tim, before it came out of bounds.
This is Joe Lewis, no relation to the boxer, I might add. He is working the instant replay. That's a new feature that we've added this year, and we're real happy to have that for you. I know a lot of the fans get used to being able to see that. You know, we're not CBS and we're not NBC. We just don't have the resources and the equipment as a rule, but our team here does a super job bringing these pictures to you, and that edition is a most welcomed edition. Joe Lewis and the instant replay.
Well, that makes our job a whole lot easier too, Tim.
You know, here we go on the flea flicker. Becknell gets the pass and throws it up for grabs, and two Bethel Bruins fight over it, and in doing so, knock it away from each other. So Kecoughtan averts another turnover by the fact that Bruins fought between themselves for it.
Well, that was a good shot of, there it is, Bev, Thaxton Penn, and Dr. Sam sitting in the control tower there.
I like getting some of the crew on camera. That's nice.
Absolutely.
All right, here's a replay of that last little flea flicker that they tried. Bugs is going to give the ball to Becknell. And Becknell is going to be creamed as he lets it go. Boom.
And that was kind of like a wounded duck. It never did get down far enough for the receiver.
Two Bruins fought over it. Bugs now will try it on his own. 3rd down and about 8. Over the middle. Nice catch. Excellent play as the ball was caught at the 14-yard line, and Brian Whitley is on the receiving end of the Bugs pass. I'm impressed with this quarterback. He's just a junior, and he's going to be
Tim, he put the ball at the only place that the receiver could catch it. Nobody else would have been able to intercept or anything. It was just, and he did that, rolling to his right and throwing back to his left.
Yeah,
and he's a junior.
I mean, if is the biggest word in the dictionary, but if he hadn't thrown those 2 interceptions in the first half, this would be a whole different situation. And I mean, those were such easy ones. Even I could have caught those. This is Becknell down to about the 11.
Well, I have no problem with you catching it. My problem would be you running the ball into the end zone.
I couldn't have run it in, but I could have caught it. It would have needed a truck to take me down. You know, one of the people in our crew that didn't get on camera during this is Scotty Bowers, who has moved up here as I guess you call him a stage manager. He's in the booth with us now.
Here's a good shot of that draw play, Tim.
This is Becknell getting the handoff from Bugs. All right, 2nd down and 7. 1:22 remains. Clock is moving. Kecoughtan desperately trying to get on the scoreboard. Bugs throws in the end zone. No good, as the intended receiver was Steve Maddox, number 80, who had made a nice grab earlier. There we see Tracy Brown. He hasn't done a lot of moving, so I guess that knee is kind of giving him some problems. He left early, and we hope to see Tracy back in the lineup for the Bruins next week. Clock stops with 1:14 as the Bruins will win their 2nd game of the year, their 2nd in a row, and they'll improve their record to 2-1. Kecoughtan's record will slide to 0-3. Bugs pitches back. Becknell trying to go inside, and he's inside the 10 to about the 8. A couple of Bruins over there on the stop. Let's give some credit where it's due. Number 41, Tracy Barkers, and number 20, Kevin Kottman. Kottman, one of the leading tacklers on the team.
Well, we got a 4th down, Tim, and here you get to see that on the replay, but they're trying to get the ball in the end zone and at least come out here with some points on the board. But the quarterback really got hit, Bugs, that time as he pitched the ball.
39 seconds and moving. Bugs keeps it, and he's going to score as he is upended just as he crosses the goal line, and Kecoughtan gets on the scoreboard. So an 8-yard scamper by Kermit Bugs, who has, as I said, Can I change my vote? No, I think for Kecoughtan, I'd have to give it to Bugs. I was undecided between Becknell and Bugs, but I would almost go with a co-player of the game for them. But Bugs has, through the adversity of the afternoon, has shown that he has a lot of guts and a lot of fortitude. He's done a good job leading Kecoughtan this afternoon. He is wrapped up, and a flag is down on the extra point try. We'll have to wait and see who that flag will be called on. If it's against Bethel, then Kecoughtan will get a second opportunity for the conversion. If it's not, of course, then the play will stand. Legal procedure against Kecoughtan.
Yeah, they'll just decline that, take the play. And here we see that instant replay, Tim. I don't know if this is the score or the extra point.
Yeah, this is the extra point try. You saw Bugs wrapped up and the ball knocked away from him.
So you're going to go with Bugs, huh?
Yeah, I kind of got to go with Bugs for my player of the game for Kecoughtan, but it's close. There was a couple other good players. Becknell played a fine game. Llewellyn played a fine game for them.
Well, I'll yield to you. We'll go with Kermit Bugs as a Kecoughtan player of the game, and Todd Kelly from the Bruins.
Our congratulations to both teams, though, for an excellent effort this afternoon. The Warriors having a tough go of it here early in the season, but as you said before, they're a young team, and they play with a lot of heart, and they'll be back. They'll hurt someone before this season is over. You can always count on that. Bethel improves their record to 2-1. Coach Kozlowski, again, during the pregame discussion with us, said that they played a tough team. Norview is the only loss on the schedule for them, and they were beaten soundly by them, but they didn't feel like they were 32-7 worse. they weren't 25 points worse than Norview. Norview's picked to do very well on the other
Yes,
side.
they are. They're undefeated on their side this year so far.
And I understand. Please, we invite you to stay tuned at the conclusion of the game. We're going to have some interviews for you. Oh, good hitting. See, that's what I like about Kecoughtan. They're out of this game, no way to win it, but they're still hitting people. And that's the kind of attitude that you have to have if you're going to win a ball game at any time.
That's the truth. AG is going to try to get Corey Hodge at the end of the game. He's going to try to talk to him and possibly Todd Kelly, number 88. We'll see what happens.
It'd be nice if you could get one of the Warriors, too. If you could
yeah,
get
a little hard to talk to a player who just lost the game, so maybe he can. We'll see what happens.
We're going to watch the replay of the kickoff after that touchdown. Here you see Hodge as he fields the ball. And then several of the Warriors are going to say, Mr. Hodge, we don't care for the way you brought that ball back. And they really stopped him in his
tracks. Look at all those white jerseys that are in there, Tim.
A lot of the players who haven't seen much action this afternoon. This is Hodges spinning away from a couple of would-be tacklers all the way out close to a first down. And the clock has run out. That will be the last play of the ball game. So Steve Hodges tries to get a few more. He picks up almost 10. And that will be the conclusion of the ball game. So please stay tuned, if you will, because momentarily we will have some interviews as A.G. Womble will be down on the field. And we'll be trying to talk to some of the players from both sides. And please stay tuned for that. While we're waiting for AG to line up those interviews, let me recap the scoring for you. The scoring in the first half came at 3:35 of the second quarter. Todd Kelly stepped in front of a Kermit Buggs pass and raced in for a 15-yard interception and touchdown. Then he was on the receiving end of a two-point conversion, made it 8-0. At halftime, it was 15-0 as Kelly picked off a second intercepted pass and raced in for 30 yards. And I think very good. We have Kermit Buggs, the quarterback for Kecoughtan. AG, take it away.
Thank you, Tim. Bob Kermit, I know you're disappointed with the loss, but you personally played a great game. What went wrong for the Kecoughtan today?
Well, we made too many mistakes. We gave up 5. We had a fumble, my interceptions, and it just cost us the game.
A young team that looks like the future's bright at Kecoughtan.
Yes, it'll be bright. We got a lot of players coming back next year, and I hope we can do well.
Great game day, Kermit. Good luck the rest of the season. Thanks for talking to us.
All right.
Kermit Buggs. Corey Hodges.
All right, AG, you're going to try to get Corey Hodges.
Yeah, Corey, I think you had about 113 or over 113 yards today. You were getting the job done on the ground. What was working well for you?
Well, the line was creating some big holes for me. Most of all, we've been practicing all weeks on the counter gap and blocking straight ahead, and it just worked out for me.
Bethel seems to be getting things together here. What does the rest of the season look like to you?
I think we're going to do quite better because every game we do give more than 110%. And since from the Norview game, we learned our mistakes, and we came out to be a better team.
All right, Corey Hodges, great game. Good luck the rest of the year.
Thank you.
Corey Hodges. Corey Hodge.
Corey Hodge, that's right. It's Steve Hodges and Corey Hodge. So AG will be waiting. I think he wants to get a chance to hopefully talk with Todd Kelly and maybe some other Bruins as they are huddled up. You can see on your screen there, Coach Kozlowski traditionally has a post-game meeting with his team at the center of the field. And your comments, Bob, on the ball game this afternoon?
Well, Tim, it was an excellent ball game as far as the fans got to see some scoring, but the big thing that, of course, was the turnovers that was against the Warriors. As you can see, some of the coaching staff of the Warriors are talking to their ball players also. You can't give up 2 consecutive plays and give up 15 points in just a short period of time, and really they turned the ball over what it was about 7 or 8 times in a ball game, and that just is going to hurt you. And of course, what you try to do is, if you're the coaches, is try to get some positives out there and say, okay, these are the mistakes, and let's try not to make those mistakes again. Now we're going down to AG with Todd Kelly down here in the center of the field. Take it away, AG.
We got Todd Kelly. Todd, you were in the right place at the right time there. A couple of interceptions. Tell us about those 2 key plays.
Well, see, we have a defense. We have a flood left to the Twins offense they run. And I play pass first, which I did. Which Coach O teaches me, my defensive coach, when the ball is in the air, is to, attack to the ball. Wherever the ball goes, go to the ball. And that's what I did.
Like it was an instant replay almost on that second one.
Well, basically, I knew they was going to come back with the same play. Last time the guy had a lot of pressure on him. It was a little wobbly the second time, it was just right on the money, like he was throwing the ball right to me.
Todd, great game. There's a lot of great, outstanding players on both teams. Who did you most valuable player today, and good luck to you the rest of the season. All right, good job. Todd Kelly, Bethel Bruins. All right, Tim and Bob.
We had a little, I don't know if they picked up that static in the mic or not, but Todd basically was saying that he was just watching the quarterback, keeping his eyes on him, and just stepped in and made those 2 interceptions. I know it's got to be a big win for Coach Kaz. Any win's a big win, especially if you can beat a crosstown rival like Kecoughtan. And we're going down right now. AG's got Coach Kaz, going to talk with him. Let's see what Coach Kaz got to say.
Kaz, those turnovers helped you today.
Well, they did near the end of the first half. We picked off the 2 passes. They certainly helped, got us the 14 points we needed. But I was more pleased with the second half when we took the ball and we drove it all the way down the field and scored. I thought that was indicative of our offense, even though I still feel that we executed it the way we could. Defensively, though, I thought we did a much better job the second half. We settled them down and we stopped making the mistakes that we made. They're a good team. They're a well-coached football team. And I think it was a very good game. Had it not been for the 2 pass interceptions, the score would have been 14-6. We would have won, and I think that's the type of team that Coach Newsom puts out over here. I don't think they have anything to be ashamed of. They played very well.
20 years of great football at Bethel High School. Your thoughts, your closing thoughts on that?
Well, I'll tell you, it's been a tremendous history. There are so many good athletes that we've had, and many of them are very successful in so many walks of life, and I think it's something that the school and the community and the school system can really be proud of.
Great job, Kaz. Good luck the rest of the season.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. Dennis Kozlowski.
Well, as you could hear, Kaz is real happy with that win, of course, and what starts it off is the defense, and you want your defense to turn the ball over for your offense, but when you get an added bonus, the defense scores 2 touchdowns, that's got to help your team. And, of course, it's not going to get any easier. He's going to play some tough teams. He's got Hampton to play. He's got Phoebus to play. And the Peninsula District is a tough league, Tim.
You're absolutely right, and it continues to show that the Peninsula District is always a contender. Bethel, 2-1 now overall, and they're 2-0 in the district. 3-0 finds the Phoebus Phantoms going into this weekend. They won Thursday night, or rather Friday night. And, of course, Hampton played Saturday afternoon. And, of course, as I said, the Hampton City Schools are doing extremely well, Kecoughtan being the exception right now. But they'll turn it around, I'm sure.
Oh, well, they had an excellent season last year, Tim. As you and I both know, they played Hampton tough. 2 games, and the Hampton coaching staff will tell you the toughest team that Hampton played last year, including the state championship, was against the Kecoughtan Warriors.
All right, we're going to wrap it up from here. Our next game will be on the 1st of October. We'll be back here at Todd Stadium, a 2 o'clock Saturday afternoon game, and that will have the same Kecoughtan Warriors hosting, or playing at least, the Hampton Crabbers, a game that is always a hard-fought ball game.
Yeah, that's the truth.
All right, for A.G. Womble and Bob Hintz, this is Tim Cole and the entire crew. We thank you for watching. Hope you'll join us next time for high school football on Channel 29. Good afternoon, everybody.